The Green Hornet. He hunts the biggest of all game, public enemies who try to destroy our America. With his faithful Filipino valet Cato, Britt Reed, daring young publisher, matches wits with racketeers and saboteurs, risking his life that criminals and enemy spies will feel the weight of the law by the sting of the Green Hornet. Ride with Britt Reed in the thrilling adventure, The Double Cross. The Green Hornet strikes again. Joseph Landers was working late in his office at the State Building. He looked up startled as the door to his office opened.
You? I don't know why you come here like this so late. Why are you standing there staring at me? If you come to try to change my mind, it's no use. It's about time that somebody... You can't scare me. Do you hear? What's the matter with you? Say what you have to say and leave. Why do you have your hand in your pocket? I'm not afraid. Don't come any closer. Get back, I say. Have you gone crazy? Stop looking at me like that. If you think... A gun. You came here to... No. No. I won't let you. No.
Set the Lex paper! Landers murdered! Set the Lex Read all about it. Death of indicted legislator hampers grand jury. Here you are, sir. Set the Lex paper!
Hi, Casey. Is Reed in?
Well, if he is in, he knows you're here. The way you slammed that door shook the building, expert.
Did it now? Sure, and I ain't the one to go sneaking in and out of doors like some people I know around here. Like yourself, for instance, Casey.
A lady doesn't slam doors.
Sure, but I ain't no lady. How was that for a snappy comeback, eh, Casey?
Well, if you come back with any more like that, you'll be in for a snappy exit, believe me.
Ah, where's your sense of humor? You ought to see the funny side of things, that you should.
Maybe you're right.
Well, what are you laughing at now?
Oh, I was thinking of a Laurel and Hardy picture I saw last night. That Hardy looks so funny with that little derby.
Yeah, and them balloon-looking breeches he wears. And that short, tight coat.
And those big turned-up shoes.
Oh, my. Say, Casey, what made you think of him all of a sudden?
Looking at you.
For 2 pins, I'd tell Reed how you waste a sentinel's time joking and laughing when you should be tending your own...
Ashford. I'm sitting in my office waiting to see you while you're out here laughing your head off over some of your own corny jokes.
Oh, hi, Reed. I was just coming in, that I was.
Never mind, I'll talk to you out here. Is there any more dope on Landers' murder down at police headquarters?
Nope.
It's been over a week since he was killed. His death certainly stymied the grand jury investigation.
What do you mean, Reed? Didn't they convict them other 4 legislators yesterday?
Well, nevertheless, the whole investigation was a flop.
A flop? Why do you say that, Mr. Reed?
Yeah, what do you mean?
Well, those 4 were only petty grafters. They sold their votes for small sums. The grand jury was really after the big shots who handled important money in the state machine.
You mean men like Fenwick and Harper?
Of course. Landers promised to talk, so he was murdered. And his death scared the others so that none of them would squeal.
Do you think Fenwick and Harper had anything to do with Landers' murder, Reed?
Well, that remains to be seen, Exford. Those 2 control the state machine. They usually find a way to put through any bill that interests them. That Frontenac Park bill they were backing might have gone through if those legislatures hadn't been convicted.
Sure, that bill might go through anyhow, Reed.
Not a chance. The land out by the Frontenac factory is the last place anyone would want to see a state park.
Well, no, maybe so, and then again, maybe not. A friend of mine told me the homeowners out there are getting up a petition to send to the legislature asking the bill to be passed.
What? Who started that petition?
Oh, which now? You look as though you think maybe I did it myself. How do I know who started it? Anyhow, if them factory workers living out there want to
Axford, I want you to find out about that property.
Who, me?
You heard me. Go out to the Frontenac development and make a house-to-house canvass.
Reed, if you think I'm going to be sticking my feet indoors trying to get people to give information, I'm here to tell you,
Well, go on.
that I'll do the best I can. But it ain't to me liking to be canvassing like a brush salesman.
You tell him you're working your way through college, Axford. That'll slay him.
Well, I don't care how you do it, Axford. But I want you to find out how much each homeowner's invested in real estate out there. Well, come into my office. I'll give you a list of other questions to ask.
Suffering snakes, if I'd have kept me big mouth shut
Well,
about
I'm glad
it.
you mentioned that petition, even if you're not. And maybe when I have your report, I'll have something that'll give us a line on some real news. Who can tell?
Oh, me poor feet. For 2 whole days now, tramping from door to door, asking silly questions and getting insulted time and again. I hope I can make it to the bus stop.
Hey, you. I want to talk to you.
Glory be. Maybe 'tis a ride to town I'll be getting. What is it you'd be wanting me, good man?
Hey, come on, climb in.
Sure, that I will. Sure, and it'll be good to sit down, that it will. It's nice of you to stop and offer to
Hey,
take
look.
me to...
If you think I stopped out of the kindness of my heart, you're nutty.
Nutty, is it? Now, what kind of talk is that, I'd like to know?
Now, listen, Puffball. I've been watching you going from door to door and writing in that notebook you got in your hand.
So what?
Let me see that notebook.
Hey, give me that back. You can't grab it out of me hand like that.
I did, didn't I? Yeah. Looks like you're being nosy about everybody's business around here.
Nosy, am I? Give me that notebook.
Go on, get out of here, funny face.
Hey, you can't push me out if I can't get away with it.
You're out, ain't you?
Sure. And if you had the nerve to get out too, I'd soon show you.
Right, show me, Butterball. Here I am.
So you think I couldn't if I tried?
Yeah, why don't you sell yourself for an animated cartoon? That derby's too small. Your tie is not tight enough. Your coat's too tight, needs widening.
Oh, me coat!
And your shirt sticks out between your vest and your belt. I'll tuck it in. And your nose is too long. Yeah, that little mud puddle was just waiting for you. So long, dope.
No. Hey, me notebook. Wait till Reed hears about this. There he goes, the thieving spalpeen. Hey, come back here and fight like a man. I'll show you if it's the last thing I do. Uh-oh. Stop at the car. Hey. Oh, just for the red light. Oh, what a mess I am. Reed'll have me head for losing that notebook. Oh, that worked for nothing.
Axford, what on earth?
Well, Reed, you see, it was this way.
I've seen messes before, but you take the cake. What happened?
Reed, I was on me way to the bus after canvassing all day when 3 guys, tough ones they were too, jumped from behind a building and began slugging at me. Tired as I was, I lit into 'em. Being 3 to 1, you understand.
You'd better start over and give it to me straight, Axford.
Huh? Oh. Well, the truth is, 'twas only one guy. He was a big one, though. He took me notebook and messed me up a bit in the bargain.
I'll say he did. So a mug jumped you and took your notebook, huh? Evidently somebody's worried about the interest the Sentinel's showing in that Frontenac development.
Say, now, I never thought of that. I'm sorry, Reed, about the notes and all. But
In a way, I'm glad it happened, Axford.
Glad you say? For me to get messed up
No,
and take
calm
off...
down. I mean, it's a tip-off that things aren't right out there. How do all those people feel about the bill to make a state park?
Well, they're all for it. The state buys that land for a park, all those homeowners will make some dough.
Not by a long shot. I've seen one of the purchase agreements. It'll take each one of them 30 years or more to own one of those homes.
You don't say.
Yes. The Frontenac Realty Company owns those homes. If the bill for the state park goes through, that realty company will benefit by it, but not any of the people out there.
Say now, if one of them people stays and makes the payments, he'll own the house.
Yeah, no one will be there long after the factory closes down. And also, there are a dozen loopholes in the contracts. The realty company can get them out when they want to.
Suffering snakes, Reed. Then it must be a racket.
That's right. Do you know who owns the Frontenac Realty Company?
Nope. And I ain't going from door to door trying to find out either.
Well, that won't be necessary, Axford. I already know.
Whoever they are, they're crooks.
In a big way. The real owners are the men who run the state machine. They should be in jail in place of those 4 insignificant bribe takers.
Say, if you're thinking about who I'm thinking about, then you must be thinking about...
Right. I'm talking about Fenwick and Harper.
A short time later, Britt Reed went to his apartment, where Cato, his faithful Filipino valet, and the only person knowing his identity as the Green Hornet, was waiting. He and Cato discussed the matter.
Since one of their bribe takers is dead and the other 4 are in jail, Fenwick and Harper aren't sure of enough votes to put that Frontenac bill through. So they've started this petition gag, Cato.
It's possible, Mr. Britt.
I wonder if Fenwick and Harper are in a receptive mood tonight. I found out they live in the same apartment.
Oh. Sudden gleam in eye of Britt Reed show he now thinking of Green Hornet.
Right. Got the mask and the gas gun, Cato. Something tells me Fenwick and Harper are going to try to put over one deal too many. And the Green Hornet's going to be in on it. Let's get going.
Meantime, in the living room of their apartment just outside of the city, Fenwick and Harper were discussing the situation.
Harper, I'm afraid those petitions aren't going to have much effect in putting over that bill.
I know that. It was your idea, Fenwick.
All right, so it won't work. Therefore, we've got to find some votes for that Frontenac Park bill.
No one in the legislature would touch our cash with a 10-foot pole. After that grand jury clamped down and put those suckers in jail. Have a cigarette?
What? Oh, thanks. I'm out. Ring for the houseman, will you? I want another highball.
Good idea. Our houseman comes in handy at times. For instance, getting that notebook from that nosy reporter today.
Yes, he'd never make a smooth butler, but he sure can follow orders and keep quiet about it.
What are you buzzing for?
Want a couple of highballs. And please remember to say sir when you come into service.
Okay, I always forget. Highball's coming right up.
You can't make a silk purse out of a sow's ear. He still forgot to say sir.
He always forgets to pull his jacket down over that gun he carries. I've got to have another talk with him. What was that?
What? I didn't hear it.
Look, the Green Hornet. He came in the open window.
Open windows are handy things for me.
What do you want here?
We'll get to that in a minute, Harper.
Hornet,
Don't touch that phone. That's better. Now we'll talk things over.
As Britt Reed stood facing the 2 men, his back was turned to the kitchen door. Slowly, the knob turned, and the door inched open without a sound. Suddenly...
Put him up, Hornet. I got you covered. And if you make one false move, so help me, I'll drill you right through the back.
We'll continue our Green Hornet adventure in just a moment. And now back to our story. Britt Reed stood tense and unmoving when he realized the houseman had the drop on him from behind. As Fenwick and Harper watched, not a flicker of an eyelash betrayed the feelings of the masked man before them. Then Fenwick spoke.
So, Hornet, you've walked into a difficult situation, to say the least.
Not at all, Fenwick. How do you know I haven't an accomplice planted behind the drapes, covering all of you?
But behind the drapes, where?
Let go of me. Take your hands off of me.
Now tell your gorilla to shoot.
No, you're using me as a shield. Fenwick, don't let him shoot.
He tricked us. There's no one behind the drapes.
I didn't really say there was. If either you or that mug over there makes a move, I'll use my weapon on Harper.
No, they won't. They won't.
Good. Now, gentlemen, if I may presume to call you such, I came here to make a friendly deal. And this reception isn't going to help us figure things out.
Figure what things out? What do you mean you came here to make a deal?
Look, I know you and Harper here own the Frontenac Realty Company. I know the houses will revert to you. And you'll take the land and sell it to the state if the Frontenac Park bill goes through.
What? We don't know what you're talking about.
Don't lie. I have ways of getting facts. Maybe I have facts concerning Lander's murder. Maybe I have facts concerning the bribing of those other indicted legislators. And then again, maybe I have facts that'll help to get that bill passed. Who can say I haven't?
Fenwick, I don't like
Quiet,
this.
quiet, Harper. Well, Hornet, we'll send the houseman away. And perhaps we can discuss the deal you spoke of.
Have it your own way.
All right, you can go.
Okay. I'll be in the kitchen if you need help.
Okay, Harper, you can sit down.
That's better.
I'll get to the point, Hornet.
Suppose I had an influential man who could jam your park bill through.
If you have a proposition, state it.
I'm the go-between. You pay me and forget the matter.
Just as a supposition, suppose we were to make such a deal. How much would you want?
$15,000.
What? Preposterous.
Don't hand me that. You'd make out on that Frontenac Park deal, but good.
What's to prevent you from taking the cash and double-crossing us?
Take it or leave it. Think it over. I'll get in touch with you again.
Now, hold on.
I'll get your answer later on. You'll get word from me.
That was an experience, Fenwick. And that Green Hornet seems to know a great deal about our business.
Yes. And I'm inclined to think he knows enough about somebody else's business. Somebody who is influential enough to get that bill through. When he gets in touch with us again, I'm going to make that deal with him.
Police headquarters. Sergeant Burke speaking.
Hey, Copper, there's a funny-looking car, a long black one without a license plate on it, parked in front of number 22, Parkside Lane.
So what? There's a lot of cars parked there. Huh? No license plate, you say?
Right.
And it's long and black? Say, is it a curious-looking car? Sort of low-slung like?
Yeah.
Thanks, Bud. Thanks a lot.
What is it, Sarge? Sounded like you were talking about the Green Hornet car or something.
I was talking about the Green Hornet car, you nitwit.
Suffering snakes, why didn't you say so?
Come on. We'll take a squad car and run out there right now. Maybe you'll get a scoop, and I'll get the Green Hornet.
Hey, we go halves of the reward if I help you get him.
Halves on the reward, is it? Say now, Mike Axford, you'll be getting 1/3 and no more. Why should I... Great heavens to Betsy. It goes to show what a guy like you can do to a guy like me. Driving me so nutty I stand there arguing about a reward we ain't even got yet. Come on.
The police should be here any minute. Be ready for a quick getaway, Cato.
All ready, Mr. Britt. If they come... Car coming fast. Maybe a police, no doubt.
Yeah, it is. Step on it, Cato.
Stop! Halt in the name of the law! The Hornet's all right, Sarge, but he got away. Don't I know that, you dope? Huh.
You should call me a dope.
Be yourself, Axford. We got business. Uh-oh. Here comes the guy that lives in the house there.
What's going on out here? Who did all the shooting?
I'm Sergeant Burke from headquarters.
Say, Sarge, maybe this guy can... Ain't you Senator Hilbert? I saw your picture in the Sentinel.
Of course I am, and this is my house. 22 Parkside Lane.
You live there, huh? That's where the Green Hornet was parked. Right there in front of 22.
Say, why would the Green Hornet be calling on you, Senator?
Calling on me? Don't be a fool.
Suffering snakes! I gotta call the Sentinel. I'm going to find a phone. Come on, Sarge.
Set the Lex paper! Green Hornet seen at Senator's home. Read all about it. Senator Hilbert denies seeing Green Hornet. Set the Lex paper!
Well, what you you do with small portable record-cutting machine, Mr. Britt?
Now that the extras have been on the street, Cato, I suspect the senator will have some late visitors.
Yes?
We'll drive the Black Beauty to the rear of the senator's house. I have some very long cable, enough to run from the machine to the basement. You'll operate it here in the car. A little gadget which I'll attach under the floor of his study will pick up everything that's said in the room and record it on the transcription. Now turn here.
Yes, sir. Oh, what you do?
You keep the record going until you see me go in the window at the back. Then stop it and bring the record to the window. Let's stop here. Now we'll get the machine all set. Then we'll wait until the visitors arrive. And I don't think we'll have long to wait.
Fenwick and Harper were in their apartment with a copy of the Sentinel before them.
So, the prim and proper Senator Hilbert was the influential contact the Green Hornet meant.
I can hardly believe it.
It's quite evident, Harper.
Then, when the Hornet comes back,
Don't be a fool. Why deal through him? We'll go over to Hilbert's home right now. Make a deal directly with him. For less money. Get your hat and coat. Hilbert won't dare to refuse to see and help us now.
Who could be calling at this late hour when all the servants are in bed? I might as well go and find out. Whoever it is, they're very impatient and have no regard for the fact that I might have been in bed.
Good evening, Senator Hilbert.
Fenwick and Harper. I'm sorry, gentlemen, but I was just about to...
Don't be so formal, Hilbert. Can't afford to now.
Why,
we heard of your dealings with the Green Hornet. We have something to say of interest about his visit here tonight.
He was not in this house tonight or any other night. However, come into the study. I'll hear what you have to say.
We didn't think you'd admit having seen the Hornet. But, of course, we know facts that others don't know, Senator.
Now, shut the door. Have a chair.
Now we'll get to the point. You're familiar with the Frontenac Park bill. Your influence could get it through.
That measures an insult to the state, sir.
I think we could give you some arguments that'd make you see things our way, Senator.
Really? And what, for instance?
This, Senator. $10,000 in cash.
Do you mean to say that you have the effrontery to buy my support for that bill?
Money talks, Senator. It can say whatever you want it to say.
It's nothing more or less than an outright attempt at bribery.
Take it easy, Senator. We know where you stand. The Hornet called on us tonight, before he came here to see you.
I've never seen the Hornet in my life. Now get out of this house, both of you.
Hold it, Hilbert. Don't try that stuff on us. You've been dealing with a Hornet.
Take your filthy bribe and get out, I say. I've denied all evening that the Hornet was here, to the press, to the radio, and now I deny it to you.
Hey, there's something phony here, Fenwick.
Decidedly phony. I'm calling the police.
Keep your hands away from that phone.
A gun? Why, you wouldn't dare use that.
To the contrary. I'm going to be forced to use it. On you. You know too much.
You're bluffing.
Yeah, Landers thought so, too.
You killed Landers?
Fenwick, you fool! What's the difference? He'll never be able to tell anyone.
And I suppose you two bribed the other 4 who went to jail.
Well, of course. They knew better than to talk. A lesson learned from Landers, you might say.
You murderers. You betrayed the trust of the state. You're kind of the vilest, lowest...
You've shut enough, Hilbert. Pick up the money, Harper. Then we'll dispose of this fool here and now.
All it you.
What the Green Hornet.
Listen, Hornet, we thought you... I'll take this 10 grand for a certain purpose.
Oh, no, you won't.
Or try, Fenwick. Take it.
What? Gas! I can't...
You too, Popper.
Hey, wait, take the money.
Hornet, you've caused me enough trouble tonight.
Is 10,000 enough to use as evidence of a bribe?
Why, what do you mean?
Skip it. There's the dough they tried to bribe you with. Call the police and have them pick up these 2 double-crossers.
But wait now,
Talk to the police.
I don't...
Here on the windowsill is a recording of everything those crooked killers said in this room tonight. That'll convict them. So long.
This is almost unbelievable. Evidently, he left me unharmed so that I could call the police and turn in Fenwick and Harper because they double-crossed him or something. If that recording has on it what he said it would have, Fenwick and Harper will get the chair. Hello, operator. Give me police headquarters. Quick.
wake up!
Oh, Axford, I'm going to make you move out of here.
Reed, listen to this, will you? Fenwick and Harper got turned in by Senator Hilbert, and he gave the cops a recording of Fenwick trying to bribe him.
No.
Absolutely. And that ain't all. On that same recording, Fenwick confesses that he murdered Landers. Now, what do you know about that?
Amazing. Where and how did the senator get such a record?
Reed, believe it or not, when we asked him, he says, "Come as you please." From the Green Hornet, he says. The man must be daft to my way of thinking. Nobody's going to stand around talking to the Hornet like he says he did. Would you, Reed?
Well, in a situation like that, Axford, I'd probably wind up talking to myself.
Talking to yourself? You'd be that scared, I believe you would, Reed. Talking to yourself. Reed, you're sure a cad.
Dr. Lexby, take Bob! Fenwick and Harper indicted by grand jury. Senator Hilbert to testify. Green Hornet involved. Read all about it. Green Hornet still at large. Dr. Lexby, take Bob!
Henry Stambaugh speaking. This is the Blue Network of the American Broadcasting Company.
Presenting Superman. Up in the sky. Look! It's a bird.
It's a plane.
It's Superman! Superman, amazing, mysterious figure in blue costume and red cape who has appeared on Earth as the champion of the weak and the oppressed. We last saw Superman streaking through the evening sky toward the laboratory of Dr. Sven Dahlgren in an effort to foil the plans of the Yellow Mask. It is some time after 4. On the stroke of 6, the Daily Planet, its building, its presses, and its staff will be blown to fragments unless Superman can solve the plot in the short time that remains. As Superman wings his way over the dimly glowing city, Lois Lane, the Daily Planet's girl reporter, is already at Dr. Dahlgren's laboratory, interviewing the scientist on the loss of his newly invented atomic beam, which the Yellow Mask has stolen. But even as the scientist and the girl sit talking, hidden eyes are watching them, and unheard voices pass and repass on an unseen secret relay. Listen.
Yes, this is the Yellow Mask. This is Michael, reporting from the laboratory. The girl has arrived and is talking with the doctor. We are ready. When the signal comes, close the sliding doors and leave the rest to me. Then join us at the airport. Do you understand? Yeah, I understand. There won't be no mistake this time. That's good. I have sworn to blow up the newspaper as the clock strikes 6. The Yellow Mask does not fail.
And to my great relief, Miss Lane, after calling your newspaper, I discovered that this demented individual who had stolen my atomic beam machine had stolen nothing but a box of wires and rheostats, utterly useless to him.
What do you mean?
Well, the machine cannot operate unless it is loaded with atomic cylinders, small steel capsules containing the energy necessary to work the beam. I recalled that I had placed only 2 of the cylinders in the machine to demonstrate it, and both were fired.
But you have other cylinders, haven't you?
Oh, yes, but they're well protected. Look in there. What do you see?
Why, it seems to be a sort of inner room.
And what is at the extreme end?
Well, let me look. Why, it's a safe. A huge safe built into the wall.
And in that safe are a dozen atomic cylinders and a duplicate of the stolen machine.
You had 2 machines?
Oh, yes, a new one and an old one. That madman stole the new one. But never mind. Keep looking, Miss Lane. What do you see now?
Why, there are 2 doors rolling right out of the wall.
Exactly. Massive steel doors, Miss Lane, which cut off every part of the laboratory. The pair that you're looking at cut off the strong room. Now they roll back again.
What made them open?
Ah, I did something. You didn't see what, eh? Good, that's part of the secret.
Oh, Dr. Dahlgren, this will certainly make a story. Now, tell me about the machine, the atomic beam. Why do you think it was stolen?
Miss Lane, if I were a man gone mad with lust for power, determined to dominate the entire world, I could ask for no greater weapon than the Dahlgren atomic beam.
Good heavens, do you really mean that?
I do. That is why my secret will never be published unless I am assured the atomic beam can be used to benefit humanity and not destroy it.
Can you tell me how the machine works, Dr. Dahlgren?
Why, yes. The Dahlgren atomic beam, Miss Lane, is based on the almost limitless power of atomic energy. In the first place...
Ought to be getting there now. Deserted part of town, all right. Oh, I think I see a car. That's it. Lois's car, parked at the curb. I'll drop down on the roof, slip downstairs, and enter Dahlgren's house as Clark Kent, reporter. Down! Now then, down below. Wait a minute. What's that? Coming through the wall. Nobody else could hear it, but I can. It's a voice. A voice traveling on a radio relay.
Yes, this is the Yellow Mask. What now? This is Michael, reporting from the laboratory. No change. We are almost ready. Remember, when I give the signal, close the doors. No more now.
The Yellow Mask. Somewhere near here. And Michael. Who's Michael? And if I have any luck, I may find out from Dahlgren.
Yes?
Dr. Dahlgren, I'm Clark Kent of the Daily Planet.
Oh, yes. Come in, Mr. Kent. My man must be busy.
Thanks. You were talking to Mr. White, my editor, and something happened to the line.
We were cut off.
So I came right down to find out what you wanted to say. It may be important. Oh, hi, Miss Lane.
Well, Mr. Star Reporter, couldn't you find anything to do but come and horn in on my story?
Well, I see you're old friends.
I'm sorry, Miss Lane. This came up just after you left. Dr. Dahlgren, the Daily Planet has received a very dangerous threat from an unknown source.
A threat, Mr. Kent? What kind of a threat?
An escaped lunatic, Doctor. Someone who threatens to blow up the entire works at 6 o'clock tonight.
Doctor, the man who broke in here and made off with your invention. You told my editor he said something about destroying a newspaper. Do you remember what it was?
I remember quite well, Mr. Kent. He had picked up the machine, my new model of the atomic beam, and as he held me under his gun, he said, "First, I shall destroy the building which houses one of your great newspapers."
Dr. Dahlgren, did he mean the planet?
Well, my dear Miss Lane, I haven't any idea which...
Tell me, Doctor, could he make good that threat against the newspaper?
Mr. Kent, he could make good that threat against the world.
And we have 1 hour or less to run him down.
Well, I wouldn't worry, Mr. Kent.
Not worry?
Fortunately, as I have already explained to Miss Lane, and as I tried to tell your editor before we were cut off, the model which was stolen will not work.
What? Dr. Dahlgren, what do you mean?
Just this. By a lucky chance, the stolen machine was not loaded with the cylinders necessary to make it work.
Well, then you mean the newspaper's safe. It won't be blown up.
Not by the Dahlgren atomic beam. Wait, I will point out what I mean.
Just a second, Dr. Dahlgren. I'd like to ask you a question.
Certainly, Mr. Kent.
Is your name Michael? Or is there anyone in this house whose name is Michael?
Why, yes. Why do you ask that?
Don't you like the name Michael, Mr. Kent?
Who is it, Doctor?
Michael is the name of my servant. Why, Mr. Kent?
Nothing. I merely wondered. You were going to show us your invention, Dr. Dahlgren.
Oh, yes, to be sure. If you'll excuse me for a moment. No, stay right where you are. I'll get it out of the safe and bring it here.
Well, are your worries about being blown sky high quite laid to rest, Mr. Kent? You thought the paper would be blown up tonight, didn't you?
You know I did.
And yet you take the first chance you get to run out like a rat and leave the rest of them there to face whatever happens.
Oh, now look here. Mr. White sent me out on this assignment.
Now, I bet he didn't have to urge you much.
Oh, don't think that about me, Lois, please.
I can stand freshness and amazing luck and even boasting, but not cowardice, Mr. Kent. What are you doing?
I'm telephoning the office. Hello, operator. Operator!
Have you forgotten the phone's out of order?
Thought they might have fixed it. They haven't.
Well?
That wire. It goes through a conduit into the next room, and it's slack, loose. It comes away in my hand. Look!
What?
Lois, that wire was cut off clean by someone in this house while Dr. Dahlgren was talking to Mr. White. By someone who didn't want Dahlgren to reveal any information.
Well, don't stand there like that. What do you think it means?
It means the thief knows that model won't work. He's found it out. Oh, where is Dr. Dahlgren? What's taking him so long?
Oh, Kent, the doors! The doors!
What doors? What are they doing?
The doors, they lead into the rooms, and Dr. Dahlgren's inside.
Love it. Maybe he did it himself.
Dr. Dahlgren, are you all right? Dr. Dahlgren!
What are you doing? Let go of me! Get away from that safe, Michael! Michael!
Oh, Kent, someone's in there with him. Something's wrong. Oh, Kent, do something. Don't just stand there.
Well, I can't. There's nothing I can do.
Look out! Look out!
An explosion inside that room. Dynamite or nitroglycerin. Lois, are you all right?
I'm all right. Just stunned.
Now, Lois, run down and bring the police. Phone the paper, quick.
Oh, what are you going to do?
I'll stay here. Maybe I can get in there. Go on, now run.
I'll be back, Kent. Wait for me.
I think it's time Superman took a hand. Clark Kent could never get through those steel doors. I had to get Lois out first, though. Now then. There they go. Almost through. It's springing out at the sides. I'll just grab hold of the edges and pull them out of the walls. Now. Dr. Dahlgren. He's unconscious. And when he comes to, he'll see Clark Kent.
Kent, is that you? The safe. Look at the safe and the wall.
They blew the safe and got out through a hole in the wall. Dr. Dahlgren, who was it? Could you see?
I don't know. When I came in, they threw a cloth over my head. Kent, look. They came back. They found the machine wouldn't work. The cylinders were in the safe.
Doctor, the safe. It's empty.
Quite empty, gentlemen. The Dahlgren atomic beam will now be put to work.
That voice. Who is it? Where is it coming from?
It's a dictaphone outlet. Somewhere in the wall. I'll track it down.
Save yourself the trouble, Mr. Kent. We are leaving immediately. It's 5:30. You will remember what happens at 6. The yellow mask does not break his word.
Half an hour to go. 30 flying minutes while mysterious planes drone high in the air over the office of the newspaper. Can Clark Kent or Superman find the yellow mask, recover the Dahlgren invention, save the Daily Planet? And meanwhile, what of Lois Lane? Tune in the next installment and follow the story. Remember, be with us again for the next thrilling transcribed installment of Superman.
Up in the sky, look! It's a bird! It's a plane! It's Superman!
Presenting Superman.
Up in the sky. Look! It's a bird.
It's a plane.
It's Superman!
And now, Superman. Strange and amazing figure from another world who has come to Earth as the champion of the weak and the oppressed. As our story opens today, Superman, in his character of Clark Kent, reporter, is just where we left him, in the laboratory of Dr. Dahlgren, bending over the reviving form of the scientist who has been stunned by the blowing open of his safe. Outside, a distant clock has just struck 5:30. Inside, Kent and the doctor stare at the empty safe, realizing that the steel cylinders necessary to operate the Dahlgren atomic beam have been stolen, and that the yellow mask can now make good his threat to blow the Daily Planet building to fragments on the dot of 6. Lois Lane has been sent to bring the police and warn the paper. Sirens wail as squad cars race toward the scene of the explosion. Meanwhile, the yellow mask himself watches grimly from a secret hiding place, waiting for the uproar to die down. Listen.
So the sound of the explosion has brought the police like bees to a honeypot. Very well, I shall wait until I am ready to leave, and then all of the police in the city will not stop me. Are both cars waiting?
All ready when you give the word, Chief.
Good. Who's this, Michael? Who's that with you?
I got a visitor for you, Chief.
You let me go. Put me down.
That girl, where did she come from?
She belongs to the fella from the newspaper. After the explosion, she went for the cops. I seen her coming down the stairs, and I thought maybe we'd better hang on to her.
You beast! Let me go!
Excellent, Michael. Well done indeed. Put her in the second car with the machine.
I won't go.
Bring her to the airport, Michael. Put her in the plane.
You heard what he said. Come along. Take it,
I
Joe.
won't. Stop! Put me down.
What'll you do with it, Chief?
That young man Kent has annoyed us before. I shall take no chances this time. If he hinders my plans in the next half hour, he signs this girl's death warrant. Start up the car.
And meanwhile, back in the laboratory of Dr. Dahlgren.
Oh, Kent, how did they know? Who told them when to come? To steal the cylinders? Yes.
Dr. Dahlgren, you remember I asked you if there was anyone named Michael hereabouts?
Yes, my servant. I've had him for years.
Well, Michael betrayed you to the Yellow Mask. He had a dictaphone in every room of the laboratory and told them of every move you made.
Michael did that? Where is he?
I don't know, probably following the mask. And that's where I'm going, too.
No, Kent, don't leave me. Come back.
Doctor, you'll be all right. The police are on the stairs right now. Sorry, I can't wait.
Hey, what goes on in here?
What's the trouble?
It can't go down. It's got to be up. Maybe the next landing. This'll do it. Out of these clothes. There. Up for the window. What's the time? Where's that clock? Good thing I can see in the dark. 25 minutes to 6. 25 minutes to find the Yellow Mask, or else... I don't know. Not much time, but here we go. Up! Up! One of two things. He's either going back to town or out to an airport. But first, I must warn White to clear the building just in case. Faster! Faster! 25 minutes!
Quarter to 6. Oh, Lord. Where is Miss Lane? Where's Kent? Steady, Rome. White.
My friend, this is the Yellow Mask.
Mike. Miss Smith. Trace this call.
Don't trouble yourself, Mr. White. You cannot stop me now, nor can Mr. Clark Kent. If he is there, tell him that Miss Lois Lane is with me.
What? Lois Lane? You've got Lois?
Miss Lane is my hostage in my plane. If you or Kent or anyone else interferes with me now, Miss Lane will leave my company without a parachute. Goodbye.
Yes, Mr. White. We're tracing the call. I will let you know where.
No time. Oh, Lord, that devil means to drop Lois out of an airplane. Oh, Kent, is that you? Where have you been, man?
Never
Where have you
mind
been?
where I've been, Mr. White. Is Miss Lane here?
Kent, just this second, a call came from the mask. He's got an airplane, and he's got Lois.
What?
It's true. What did you find out at Dahlgren's?
Mr. White, it's bad. The mask got away with the atomic beam machine. He could wipe us out in a second.
What? Well, where are you going?
Call the nearest flying field, the one on the point. I can be there in 8 minutes. Have them warm up a plane.
You can't fly. What are you going to do?
Yes, I can, and I will. So long, Mr. White. I'm not running out on you.
Kent, wait!
It's our only chance, and I'm taking it. If you don't hear from me by 2 minutes of, there's nothing we can do. All alone in the hall. Out of these clothes. No time for opening windows. Last chance, Mask. But Superman still has time. If you can fly, so can I. I'll get to the field and take a plane myself. Faster!
What are you going to do with me?
Just sit where you are, my dear Miss Lane, for the time being. What's the clock say, Michael?
5 to 6.
Remove the cover from the atomic beam. Wait a minute. What's that behind us?
Too dark to say for sure. Looks like another plane.
Fools. Didn't believe me, eh? Well, I soon will. Look down, Michael, and tell me where we are.
Over the Daily Planet building.
Watch it, Michael. It will not be there long.
You beast! You fiend! What are you going to do?
Pay off a few scores, Miss Lane. All right, Michael. It works. The machine works. Now then, Michael, back over the planet building.
Any news from Kent? What's the time?
Kent hasn't called in so far, Mr. White. Wait a minute. Hey, anybody got a call from Kent?
No, nothing here.
Not so far, Mr. White.
All right, never mind that. What's the time?
Why, you asked me that just a minute ago.
I know I did. What's the time now? Miss Smith, what's the time?
3 minutes of 6, Mr. White.
Three minutes of 6. No time left now. There they are. Got to scare them off. All right, Mask. Here I come.
Hey, Chief, that other plane's right behind us.
Never mind the other plane. It's 2 minutes of 6. Swing down over the Daily Planet building.
All right. I gotta bank and head back again. Here we go.
Please observe, Miss Lane. Once again, the whine of the atomic generators.
Oh, stop. You can't mean to do it. You won't.
Hey, look, Chief. The other plane's right on our tail.
I'll take care of that. Come here, Miss Lane.
Oh, let me go.
I told your friends what would happen if they got in my way now. Michael, release the door.
It's open. Just throw the cat.
Stop! Stop!
I said if they came too close, I warned them. Come here, girl.
No!
Hey, Chief, watch out. He's gonna crash us.
Too late. Out you go, Miss Lane. Out that door. There.
Look out! Look out!
Michael, down. Dive on the building. I'm throwing the switch of the atomic beam.
Look out! Look out! He's right on top of us! Here we go!
There. I crashed the planes. Jumped clear. That'll take care of the Mask. But Lois, she's falling. Plunging down 2,000 feet. Got to catch her. Down. 1,500. 1,000. 800. 500. 200. There she is. Now. Got her. She's safe. Now up, and away!
Whooping down, Superman saves Lois in the nick of time and bears her away to safety. Next morning, in the offices of the Daily Planet.
Well, Lois. Come in, sit down. That was quite an experience you had last night.
I tell you, Mr. White, I don't understand it. They threw me out of the plane, and I remember falling. That's all I do remember, clearly.
Well, that's almost enough. I imagine we all owe our lives to your friend, Clark Kent.
Clark Kent? What did he do?
Most amazing. At the very last minute, he went up in a plane, rammed the Mask just as he was about to touch off that infernal machine, and came down by parachute, just as you did.
As I did? Well, I don't remember any parachute.
You don't think you swam down, do you?
I don't know. I'm not sure. It's all very hazy, but at the last minute, I seem to recall that a man appeared out of nowhere, just flying in the air.
You probably saw the Mask falling out of his plane.
Oh, no, this wasn't that kind of a man. He wore a long red cape, and he just took me in his arms and carried me away.
Oh, you're dreaming, Lois. Well, look who's here. Come in, Kent.
Good morning, Mr. White. Good morning, Miss Lane.
Oh, good morning. If you'll excuse me, Mr. White.
I don't know what Miss Lane has against me.
Oh, you mustn't mind her. Kent, I can't thank you enough for what you did. You saved all our lives.
Oh, I was just lucky, Mr. White. Crashed the planes and came down by parachute. Oh, by the way, was anything left of the Mask's plane?
Nothing left of either the plane or the Mask. Dr. Dahlgren's machine was ruined, too. Incidentally, he called earlier this morning to thank you and tell you that he's destroyed the duplicate of that machine and the plans for building it. He thought you'd approve.
Oh, I do. It was much too dangerous a device in the hands of the wrong person.
Oh, say, Kent, there's something been bothering me.
Yes?
Lois seems to think she was rescued by a man in a red cape, a Superman who flew through the air. Now, you remember that Western story you covered? There were rumors about such a man, red cape, flying through the air. Now, do you think...
It's too silly to talk about, Mr. White.
I know, but...
Hey, Mr. White, about that fire in the Sterling building.
Yeah, what about it? Don't go, Kent.
Just got a phone call. They think there's a girl trapped on the 20th floor.
What? A girl trapped? Can't they get her out?
Can't reach her.
Mr. White, let me cover that story. Maybe...
Maybe what?
Well, maybe I can do something. Can I cover it?
Sure, but if the fire department can't reach her, what do you think you can do?
What does Clark Kent mean to do? Does he intend to assume the blue costume and red cape of Superman and attempt a daring rescue of the trapped girl in broad daylight? Does he dare reveal himself as Superman before the thousands of people watching the fire in the street below? What will happen? Tune in next time and find out. And remember, don't miss the next installment of Superman.
Up in the sky. Look! It's a bird.
It's a plane.
It's Superman!
Presenting the transcription feature, Superman.
Up in the sky. Look! It's a bird.
It's a plane.
It's Superman!
And now, Superman, who has appeared on Earth as the champion of the weak and the oppressed. In his disguise of Clark Kent, news reporter for the Daily Planet, Superman has foiled the diabolical plans of the Yellow Mask, a maniac who thought himself emperor of the world. And now, a new adventure comes to the mild-spectacled reporter, who is known to the city room as Clark Kent. Not knowing what strange and exciting days are directly ahead, Kent listens eagerly as a photographer brings word of a fire in one of the city's largest buildings. Listen.
Hey, Mr. White. What about that fire in the Sterling Tower?
Yeah? What about it? Don't go, Kent.
Just got a phone call. They think there's a girl trapped on the 20th floor.
What? A girl trapped? Can't they get her out?
Can't reach her.
Mr. White, let me cover that story. Maybe
what, Kent?
maybe I can do something. Can I cover it?
Go ahead. But if the fire department can't reach her, why do you think you can?
Listen, you ain't heard of half of it, Chief. Hello, Miss Lane.
What's all the excitement, Mike?
Go on, Mike. Wait. What about photographs? Who's up there?
I'm going myself right away. But get this, will you? There's something phony about this fire.
Phony?
Yeah. Well, that's the dope I got. The fire marshal thinks maybe it's incendiary. Somebody set it on purpose. A firebug.
What?
Who did it?
Whereabouts in the building is it?
Did I hear you say something about a girl? Did she do it?
Listen, give me a chance, will you? There's a mining company got offices up in the tower. North Star Mining Company. That's where the fire started, and they think that's where the girl is.
They think?
Mr. White, we're wasting time. Mike and I can grab a cab and be up there in 5 minutes.
What's this, the star reporter turning fireman?
Maybe thinks he can save the girl. Come on, Galahad.
Yes, do hurry. When you get back, we'll have a special medal for you. Clark Kent, Scoops and Life.
Quit that, Lois. No time for fooling. On your way, Kent. Call back the minute you have anything.
Say, there's a hook and ladder on the street right now. It must have turned the another alarm. What do you say, Kent? Wait till I grab my camera. We'll hop a cab. Come on. Oh, boy, did we turn that corner on two wheels. How you doing, Kent?
I'm all right, Mike. Hey, look. You can see smoke in the sky up ahead.
Oh, this is a fire, all right. Ought to get some swell shots. Tough if that dame really is trapped. Say, speaking of dames, what's Lois Lane got against you?
Oh, almost hit that traffic officer.
Hey, Eddie, if you gotta knock somebody off, don't pick on cops. Why does she cold shoulder you, Kent?
I don't know. Just seems to have taken a dislike to me.
Oh, boy, I'll say she has. And I can tell you why, too. You ain't got a chance with her, Kent.
No?
No. Ain't you heard? About that guy she says comes down from the clouds in a red cape and pulled her out of the wrecked airplane?
Oh, listen, Mike, there's nothing to that.
No, that's what you think, kid. You just ask her. She's got a real steady now. She's that way about Superman. What's the matter, Kent? Why don't you laugh? Ain't you got no sense of humor? Oh, boy, I think it's rich. Hey, here we are. Hey, this'll do it, Eddie. Find a place to park and stand by to rush back plates.
Hey, Mike. There's the fire, Chief.
Oh, gee, look at that blaze, will you? Grab your hat, Ken. Here we go.
Yeah.
All right. Stretch a line up there at the south corner. Get a hose crew under that east wall.
That wall is looking mighty bad, Chief. Due to topple any minute now.
Keep your eye on it, Grogan. And see if you can run a ladder up the ledge where that girl was.
She's gone, Chief. Reckon she couldn't stand the heat. Hey, here comes the press.
Hello, Chief. I'm Clark Kent of the Daily Planet.
Don't bother me now, boys. We got our hands full. Lieutenant! Don't let your men get too close in there. Now just watch it.
Okay, Chief.
Yeah, Chief. About that trapped girl. Is she still up there?
I don't know. I haven't seen her. She must be a goner. Where you going with that camera?
We're just getting a couple of shots, Chief.
Get back out of there. See me later, will you, Kent?
All right, Chief. Just one thing. What about the fire being incendiary?
See the fire marshal. He's the one to do the talking about that. Hey, Sanders, bring that water tower to the third story. Take it fast. Take it another alarm.
Hey, listen, Kent. What do you say? If we could get up in that building across the street, we'd have a swell angle, see?
Good idea, Mike. There's a balcony up there. I'm afraid the chief won't like it.
Who cares? What he don't know won't hurt him. Come on, kid. This is going to be good.
Mike, you go ahead up there. I'm going to call the office. Didn't I hear the chief say to send in another alarm?
Yeah, that makes 4. Mighty big fire that takes 4 alarms in this man's town.
Uh-huh.
Okay, kid. When you come back, look for me where you see the most smoke.
Right.
City room. White.
Mr. White,
This is Kent. Listen, the fire's terrific. 4 alarms.
4 alarms, eh? What's the chief say?
He won't say anything. Too busy to talk.
What about the fires being incendiary?
Well, I haven't found the marshal yet. Mike and I just got here. I thought I'd better phone you and tell you about the 4 alarms.
Right. Now listen, Kent. Keep phoning me whenever anything happens.
Mr. White, they expect the east wall to go down any second. Mike's got his camera set to watch it.
You tell him not to take too big a chance. And that goes for you too, Kent.
Don't worry. I don't take many chances. So long, Mr. White.
Oh, Kent. Wait, what about the girl? The one they said was trapped on the 20th floor.
Well, Mr. White, I don't know. She was in the offices of the North Star Mining Company, but where she is now, look, I'd better get back.
Well, go ahead. I'll wait for your call. Hey, get ready for plates on the Sterling Tower fire. Slug it, wall goes out in mammoth blaze.
Hey, right here, Kent. Out on the balcony. Come on, watch your step.
Mighty thick smoke here. Can't see a thing.
Well, it's a tough spot, all right. But every once in a while it clears, and boy, do I get a shot.
How about the wall?
All set to go. I better get that hose line out of there. Hey, look. Look over there at the wall. Ain't that a crack? Look up there.
Mike, you're right. I can see flames right through it.
Look at the chief down there in the street. He sees it.
He's calling his men back. Mike, what if it falls this way?
It won't. What's the matter?
Mike, look. High up. Up there above the ledge.
Hey, gee, Kent. It's her.
It's that girl. Up there on the 20th floor. Mike, she's managed to get to a window. What's she gonna do?
She can't do nothing. Wait till I get her focused.
Oh, never mind your camera. Call them down on the street.
They can't see her. They don't know she's there.
Hey, Chief! Hey! There, the girl at the window!
It's no use, Kent. They don't hear you. You can't do nothing.
Mike, look at her. You can see her at the window. She's trying to break the glass.
That won't help her. Look, in there behind her. Flames. Watch it, Kent. Here comes the smoke. Can't see. Where are you, Kent? Kent!
Back on the balcony. Good thing that smoke came when it did. Maybe I waited too long. Too long even for Superman. I'll try anyway. Up into the smoke.
Hidden from the crowd by billows of dense white smoke pouring out of the burning building, Superman wings his way through the air to attempt a daring rescue of the girl trapped on the 20th floor. Flames crackle and spit like things alive as he reaches the window. One blow smashes the glass. Superman drops into the room, now a roaring inferno. Sheets of orange flame envelop him. His keen eyes search the fire-gutted office. The girl is nowhere to be seen.
Flames. Hotter than a blast furnace. Hope she got back out of this. Must be inside. Where's that door? There we are. Cooler in here. Not for long. The fire's following me in. There she is, hiding in the closet. I can see her right through the door. If I wrap her in my cape, the heat won't get to her. Quick. There we are.
I can't stand it.
Quick, you'll be all right. That's it. Hold on. Now then, back. Back out of this. Not the way we came in. Through the flames and out and back. The tower. We'll just make it. Out the window. Onto the ledge. That crowd in the street. The wind has cleared the smoke. They'll surely see me this time. But it can't be helped. The wall, it's going. It's splitting. But not with us. We're away, just in time.
Watch that wall, Grogan! Get those men back! It's going any second.
Say, Chief, what about that girl on the 20th floor? Anybody seen her?
We can't get her. Even the extension ladders won't reach. We've tried everything.
Chief!
Look! Up in the sky! It's a man! Flying! No, it can't be!
It is, or we're both crazy.
Look! Look at him! The wall's going! Watch it! Back! Back! Everybody back! Back! Back!
As one wall of the burning building collapses into the street, Superman, like a bird in flight, carries the rescued girl to safety, drops down in an alley near the fire. There, he once again assumes the guise of Clark Kent reporter. Leaving the girl for a moment, he hurries in search of an ambulance doctor. Mike, the Daily Planet photographer, spots him. Together, they return to the alley with the doctor and the battalion chief.
Here she is, Doctor. I don't think she's badly hurt.
Unconscious. She may be burned. We'll see.
Aren't you a reporter, Kent?
Yes, Chief. Daily Planet. I'm with Mike.
That's right, Chief.
I know, but how did you happen to find this girl?
I was running to call my paper, and then I happened to see her staggering out of the rear of the building. Oh, how in the world she ever got down from the 20th floor is a mystery.
It's more than that, Kent. It's a miracle. I saw a man up there. I saw a man fly out of that window.
Oh, that can't be.
And me not there with my camera?
Well, I'm not crazy, Kent. Neither is Captain Grogan. We both saw him. Is she all right, Doc?
Probably won't come to for a while. Badly shocked. Wait. She's coming around.
Oh, don't let them. They'll get away. Catch them. Stop them from the big car.
Can't get this.
Quiet.
Stop. Stop, you don't dare. Catch them. Catch them.
She's out again. Here, quick. Get her in the ambulance. She's suffering from shock. Smoke poisoning.
Wait, Doctor. What was she talking about?
How should I know? You heard her, didn't you? Sounded like hysterical babbling to me. Okay, there. Coming through with the stretcher. Gangway, please.
Was it hysterical babbling, or has sudden, unexplained mystery risen from the ashes of the Sterling Tower building? Who is this girl, and how did she happen to be trapped in the 20th floor office of the North Star Mining Company? Who did she want stopped and caught? Clark Kent is suspicious. Don't forget to tune in next time and follow the story of one of Superman's most exciting adventures. And remember, tune in with us next time and follow the exciting transcription, Superman.
Up in the sky! Look! It's a bird! It's a plane! It's Superman!
The Avenger. A road to crime ends in a trap that justice sets. Crime does not pay.
Sworn enemy of evil is actually Jim Brandon, a famous biochemist. Through his numerous scientific experiments, Brandon has perfected two inventions to aid him in his crusade against crime as the Avenger. The telepathic indicator by which he is able to pick up thought flashes, and the secret diffusion capsule, which cloaks him in the black light of invisibility. Brandon's assistant, the beautiful Fern Collier, is the only one who shares his secrets and knows that he is the man the underworld fears as the Avenger. And now, The Avenger and the Crypt of Thoth.
Here are the notes you dictated, Jim. I've transcribed them, but frankly, I don't understand them.
Well, you're not to blame for that, Fern. Those last impressions I picked up on the telepathic indicator were very difficult to identify. It seemed to me that they were thoughts transmitted through writing, but the writing itself was obscure.
Yet you thought violence was indicated?
Yes. You see, Fern, waves are the primary force in telepathy, and the telepathic indicator not only picks up those waves, but amplifies them, just as a microscope magnifies an object. In this particular instance, strong impressions of robbery and perhaps even death accompany the impression of indecipherable writing.
Your notes indicated that the writing may have been hieroglyphic.
That's right, Fern. But I came to that conclusion after employing the factor of sense cooperation in an effort to clarify the thought flashes I had already received.
What prompted you to mention Professor Wilk in your notes, Jim?
Professor Wilk has been in the news recently in connection with that museum piece he had brought over from Egypt called The Crypt of Thoth. He's been trying to decipher the hieroglyphics on that crypt for years.
Do you think you may have picked up his thought flashes?
There's just a chance of it, Fern. I'm going to stay close to the indicator for a while, though. This is an entirely new type of experiment, and it promises to be very interesting.
Oh, good morning, Mr. Clark.
Good morning, Amara.
Come in. Professor Wilk will be ready to go to the museum in just a moment. Sit down.
Thank you.
The professor worked on his notes all night, Clark. And this morning he was in a very happy mood.
You think he's hit upon the secret of where the jewels are hidden in the crypt?
I am sure of it. But he intends to say nothing and get the jewels for himself, just as I told you. Clark, the time has come for us to force his hand. Today, in the museum. You know what to do.
Yes. It's hard for me to believe the professor would do this to us, Amara. After we've worked with him for years to solve the riddle of those hieroglyphics.
I know him better than you do, Clark. I told you we couldn't trust him.
Be careful, Amara. He's coming.
Amara, those letters I dictated must go out at once.
Yes, Professor.
Good morning, Clark.
Good morning.
Come, Clark. Let's get along to the museum. We were a little late this morning, and there's a great deal of work to be done. Here is the crypt room, Clark. Come inside and close the door.
Yes, Professor.
This crypt of Thoth is a beautiful thing, Clark.
Yes. A relic of an ancient civilization, steeped in mystery and promise. Why, that black onyx statue of Thoth, the Egyptian god of death, is well worth the price the museum paid to import the entire crypt.
Certainly the statue is beautiful.
But how do you account for its being so strangely placed within the crypt? Its base reaches out above one's head like a little balcony.
That's how I knew the crypt was authentic. Just think of it, Clark. The secret of the pharaohs lies within that crypt. A fabulous fortune that only you and I and Amara know exists.
Professor, have you been able to translate that last line of hieroglyphics? Have you found out where the jewels are hidden?
Have patience, Clark. Soon we may know the secret.
Soon? Why, it's been 10 years since you first discovered this crypt in that obscure sacrificial temple in Egypt. My patience is worn out, Professor.
You are free to go whenever you wish, Clark.
That's what you want, isn't it? But I'm not going, Professor, because I know that you've already solved the secret of this crypt. You know where the jewels are and how to get them.
You are wrong, Clark. I intend to keep my bargain. When I succeed, you and Amara will get 1/10 as you were promised.
1/10? Why, you're mad, Professor. We all deserve an equal share.
You take what you are given, Clark. 1/10 or nothing.
You're a fool. I want 1/3. And if I don't get it, your life is forfeit.
Take my life and you have nothing, Clark.
There are ways to make you speak. This gun is one of them.
Clark, I warn you. Help! God!
No use to call for help, Professor. This room is soundproof and you know it.
Clark, be sensible.
What is the last line of the translation, Professor? Where does it say the jewels are hidden?
Ask the statue of the god inside the crypt there. He is more apt to tell you than I am.
Join him in death, then. Get inside.
No.
Inside, Professor!
Don't let me out.
As you know, Professor, there's just enough air inside that crypt to keep a man alive for 5 minutes.
Let me out, Clark! Let me out!
Your secret or your life, Professor. You have 5 minutes to think it over.
I do not know the secret yet. But even if I did,
No man's life is worth that price.
We shall see.
Let me out.
As the moments go by and you begin to suffocate, one breath of air will be worth more to you than all the jewels of the pharaohs. I can wait, Professor.
Clark, what happened? You're pale as death.
Amara, the professor, he's dead.
You killed him.
No, I didn't mean to. I can't understand how it happened, Amara.
What are you talking about? Did you shut him up in the crypt or didn't you?
Oh, yes, I did everything just as we planned it.
Only you forgot to let him out while he was still alive.
No. After he'd been in the crypt for 2 minutes, I heard a strange sound, and I opened the door immediately.
Yes.
The professor was lying on the floor. First I thought he'd fainted, but he was dead.
You blundering idiot. I shouldn't have trusted this to you. Now the jewels are lost to us forever.
The jewels? That's all you think of. What about me? The police will say I killed Professor Wilk.
Yes, they will say it. And it is true.
Amara, if you do not protect me, I'll tell them everything. This plan was yours as well as mine.
I only wanted you to frighten the old man and make him talk.
How could I know the professor would die in 2 minutes when there was air enough for 5? Amara, you've got to help me.
All right. I will protect you from the police.
But how?
Listen carefully. This is your story, and if you stick to it, the police will think the death was accidental. I will back you up on every point. Now, you must do exactly as I say. And no matter how many times they question you, you
Well, this is the room where we're to meet the inspector, Fern.
Is the Crypt of Thoth in here, Jim?
Yes. I wonder what could have happened here. The inspector sounded excited over the phone.
We'll soon find out. Oh, quite a gathering.
Hello, Jim. Fern.
What's the trouble, Inspector?
Oh, Professor Wilk, that Egyptologist, or whatever they called him, was found dead in that crypt over there half an hour ago.
Why, Jim, we were just talking about Professor Wilk this morning.
Yes. Inspector, who are all these people?
I called them here for questioning, Jim. Come on, let's get started.
Yeah, it looks as if we're in on the ground floor of this case, Jim.
Certainly does, Fern.
Quiet, everybody. Now come up here as I call your names. First, Joe Clark.
Yes, sir.
Clark, you were Professor Wilk's assistant?
That's right.
How long did you work for him?
Almost 6 years. Ever since he came back from Egypt.
Tell us exactly what happened this morning, Clark.
Well, I called for the professor at his house this morning at 11, and we walked down here to the museum.
The professor only lived a block away, so you must have arrived here about 5 minutes past 11?
Yes, I suppose so.
And you came straight to this room where the crypt is?
That's right. The professor wanted to copy some of the hieroglyphics from the crypt.
Go ahead.
Well, we talked for a few minutes, and then the professor went inside the crypt. He discovered he'd forgotten a book he needed and sent me back to his home for it. I couldn't have been gone more than 15 minutes, and when I came back, I found the crypt door closed and the professor inside, dead.
What did you do?
I called the guard and then telephoned the police.
May I ask a question, Inspector?
Go ahead, Jim.
Mr. Clark, what made you think the professor was inside the crypt? Wasn't the door always left open when anyone was inside?
Yes. At first, I didn't know where the professor was. I waited around for a few minutes, and then I went out and asked the guard if the professor had left. Well, the guard said he hadn't. So I came back here to look for him. Found him dead from suffocation on the floor of the crypt.
Thank you.
That's all right now, Clark. Timothy Sills next.
Right here, sir.
Sills, you were the guard on duty in the hall outside this room?
Yes, sir.
Well, what's your story?
Well, it's just like Mr. Clark said, sir. Exactly.
You saw Clark leave to get the book about 10 minutes after 11.
Yes, sir, I saw him leave.
Did you see the professor between the time Clark left and returned?
No, but I could hear the professor moving about in here.
Sills, did you hear any sound that might have been the crypt door closing?
Well, I can't say for sure. I wasn't paying that much attention.
Further questions later, Sills.
Yes, sir.
Miss Amara Nakila.
I'm Amara Nakila.
Miss Nakila, what was your position with Professor Wilk?
Secretary. I kept the professor's notes and helped him with his translations.
You met the professor in Egypt, didn't you?
Yes, almost 10 years ago.
Are you Egyptian?
My father was.
Tell me, in your own words, what happened this morning?
Mr. Clark told you the truth, Inspector. I was working in the professor's office when Mr. Clark came back for the book. And then, well, we talked a few minutes, and then he left.
Inspector?
Yes?
May I ask Miss Nikila to list her own activities this morning?
Well, that's not important, Jim. We know she wasn't at the museum, so she couldn't have had anything to do with the professor's death.
Well, just for the records, Inspector.
All right. Answer the question, Miss Nikila.
Well, as soon as I was left alone, I went to the professor's study to type some letters.
How many letters did you type?
Oh, Jim, for heaven's sake.
Please, Inspector.
Oh, all right, Miss Nikila. Answer.
Well, frankly, I didn't type any. I decided to read the morning paper before I got to work. After I'd finished reading, I began to type a letter.
Then Mr. Clark came back?
Yes.
Thank you. That's all, Inspector.
Miss Nikila, what did Clark say when he called to tell you Professor Wilk was dead?
Why, he said the professor had died from suffocation in the crypt.
You're sure he said from suffocation?
I'm certain.
Clark, what made you so positive of that?
Well, he couldn't have died any other way.
No? Well, it just happens, Clark, that the professor's neck was broken.
And now, back to the Avenger and the Crypt of Thought.
Yes, Clark. It just happens that the professor's neck was broken.
His neck was broken. Why, that's impossible.
Then you do not think it was an accident, Inspector?
I'll have to be convinced of that, Miss Nikila. Any questions here, Jim?
Yes. Miss Nikila, I'd like to see the professor's notes.
That is no longer possible. The professor tore them up this morning before he left his house.
He tore them up? I didn't know that.
He didn't tell you, Mr. Clark?
Why, no.
This isn't getting us anywhere. The professor's notes aren't on trial here. I'll question Raymond Tyler, the guard at the front entrance next.
Inspector, while you're finishing up here, do you mind if Fern and I take a look around the crypt?
No, go ahead, Jim.
Come on, Fern.
Raymond Tyler, you were on duty at the front entrance this morning when the professor and...
Gosh, Jim, this crypt is supposed to be thousands of years old, isn't it?
Yes. If Professor Wilk was right, this vault served as a tomb for several of the pharaohs.
Do you think we'll find any clues here, Jim?
We're not going to look, Fern. Not now.
What?
We're going to sneak out that door and get over to the professor's house right away. Come on. The coast is clear.
Now that we're here in the professor's study, what are we looking for, Jim?
The professor's notes, for one thing, Fern. Now, you search that desk, and I'll go through the wastebasket. We'll have to hurry. I don't want anyone to find us here.
Okay. Gosh, I'll have to be careful here. Everything is so neat. That secretary certainly must be efficient.
Oh, never mind, Fern. Here they are, right on top of the basket. And there's a newspaper underneath them.
I'll help you pick them out. Lucky for us, they were on top of this morning paper. Oh, Jim, these notes won't be any good to us. They're torn in tiny pieces.
Fern, we've got to fit them together. It takes a year.
You do think they're important?
Fern, these notes are the case history of a murder.
Listen here, Sills. That message you sent me demands an explanation. Why did you want me to meet you here in the crypt room at midnight?
I had to talk with you private, Mr. Clark.
Sills, I don't know what's on your mind, but this meeting is risky and stupid.
Risky, maybe, but not stupid, Mr. Clark.
Well, get to the point. What do you want?
Just this. You got yourself a partner, Clark.
What did you say?
You heard me. Why do you think I lied to the inspector for you? I know you killed Professor Wilk, and I know why you killed him.
What are you talking about?
I used to open the door a little and listen to you two talking in here. I got an earful yesterday, all right.
So, you want to be cut in on the jewels?
That's right. How soon can you get them out of that crypt, Clark?
That depends. I'll need some help.
Where are they hidden?
Come here. I'll show you. Now, Now, see that little dome there on the top of the crypt?
Yeah?
Well, come on, step inside. This thing won't bite you.
Okay.
Look closely now. There! Suffocate, you fool! So, you wanted to be a partner, Sills. Well, you can be one. You and the professor have a partnership in death.
So you set Clark free, Inspector?
I had to, Jim.
Oh, I still think Clark killed Sills, Inspector.
Our evidence wouldn't hold up, Jim. I couldn't prove any connection between Sills and Clark.
There was a connection, Inspector. Sills deliberately protected Clark at your first questioning. That crypt room was soundproof. Sills couldn't have heard the professor moving around in there as he said he did.
But, Jim, I couldn't get anyone to swear that the door to that room was closed at the time. We've got to dig up some real evidence.
Well, we're working on that now, aren't we, Fern?
That's right. We're fitting the professor's notes together like a jigsaw puzzle, Inspector.
Oh, you're wasting your time
Now,
on that
Inspector,
stuff. Jim, you're letting me down on this case. Here I am with two sensational deaths on my hands, and you're playing around with puzzles.
Now, there's more to that crypt of thought than meets the eye, Inspector.
Well, maybe so,
Inspector,
Fern.
I promise that in a little while you'll get the evidence you need. Evidence that will make your eyes pop. Now, you run along and let me finish up these notes. This god of death has a mighty interesting history.
Clark, the police released you.
Yes, Amara. Close the door. I've got to talk to you.
All right. Come into the study. You didn't tell them anything, did you, Clark?
Of course not. Let me sit down. I'm worn out. That inspector grilled me for hours.
Clark, it's time for a showdown. Why did you kill that guard?
I had to. He was trying to blackmail us.
Blackmail you mean?
Well, he knew all about the professor's death. I had
You've
to.
gone too far this time, Clark. I'm through. I was willing to bargain for the jewels.
You can stop pretending, Amara. You used me to get rid of the professor. I know that now.
Why should I want the professor dead?
Because you have solved the secret of the crypt. You wanted to get rid of him and me, so you could have the jewels for yourself.
I suppose I stood inside the crypt and broke the professor's neck.
No, but I'm convinced you knew that was going to happen.
You know too much, Clark.
Yes, and I'll tell the police. Unless you get those jewels from the crypt immediately and share them 50-50.
You will not find the professor's gun in that drawer, Clark. I have it here. Put your hands up.
Oh, Mara, listen. Unless we stick
You
together...
asked me to stop pretending. So I will. Yes. I used you, Clark. I wanted the professor dead. But now I don't need you anymore. You're in my way.
What are you going to do, Amara?
I'm going to silence you. Then I'll be free to go to the museum and get the jewels.
You won't get away with it.
Oh, yes, I will. I have it all planned. After I've hidden the jewels, I'll go to the police myself and report your death to them.
No.
I'll call it self-defense.
Jim, are you all right?
Yes. You can open the crypt door now, Fern. I've got the jewels.
Oh, Jim, when I heard that noise in there, I thought something had happened to you.
We were right in our translation of that last line, Fern. That one symbol that was transcribed backwards was meant to be translated that way.
In other words, the symbol meaning open was meant to be translated closed.
That's right. And the crypt door had to be closed for the device to work. That was the only word the professor hadn't mastered.
But, Jim, where are the jewels? That's only a piece of onyx from the base of the statue you've got there.
Yes, but look what's encrusted on the underside of it.
Jim, those rubies are the size of walnuts, and those pearls.
Enough to ransom every king alive.
Oh, the inspector's eyes will pop all right. But, Jim, how were you able to get them without being injured?
Well, I stood on the third stone from the back, just as the instructions indicated. That placed me directly underneath the statue. As soon as you closed the door of the crypt, that stone began to move like a seesaw. I balanced myself and let the stone go down 5 times on each side. Then I crouched low as the base of the statue swung out above me.
Otherwise, it would have caught you right on the neck as it did the professor?
Right.
Oh, but, Jim, how did you prevent the base from sliding back and holding up the jewels again?
I used this crowbar as a wedge.
The secret certainly was well protected.
Yes, That moving stone operated a lever that released the space.
And struck down anyone trying to get the treasure?
That's right, Fern.
Now what, Jim? Do we take the jewels to headquarters?
Oh, no. We'll place them there upon that table and cover them.
I don't understand what you're planning to do, Jim.
Fern, I'm setting the stage for the last act of this little drama.
Oh, good. What part do I play?
Messenger, I want you to go to headquarters and bring Inspector White back here. Tell him to park out front and wait.
Just wait?
Yes, Fern. A murderer will come out of this building tonight.
But what about you, Jim?
I'll be waiting too, Fern. Right here as the Avenger.
Here is the crypt. I must not be afraid. I have but to follow the instructions carefully, and I can outwit the god of death, and live to wear the jewels of the pharaohs. What was that? Is anyone there?
I speak for those who have died within this crypt, Amata.
Oh, a voice from the dead.
Look, Amata. There, upon the table.
The jewels.
Yes, the treasure that the god of death has protected for centuries.
The jewels of the pharaohs. Almighty Thoth, you have given them to me. I kneel before you.
Rise up, Amata. There is blood upon your hands. Speak. Why did you kill the professor?
I had discovered your secret, Almighty Thoth. I had to send the professor here to die because he knew the secret too, except for that one word.
And Syl, the god.
Clark killed him. It was the only way. He tried to blackmail us.
Clark, the conspirator. Where is he?
Clark is dead. I shot him.
Then flee from this place. Go at once, Amata. The god of death rules here. You must flee, Amata. Flee.
Yes, I will go. Out there in the night, I can escape your vengeance. I must escape. Escape!
The voice of death speaks clearly to all who dare to kill. Justice awaits you, Amata.
Jim, I know you were almost certain from the beginning that Clark was guilty. But what made you suspect Amara?
She made one slip in that story she told the inspector, Fern.
What was that, Jim?
She said the professor tore up his notes before he went to the museum that morning.
Yes, and we found the notes torn just as she said.
Oh, not quite. When I asked Amara to list her own activities that morning, she said she read the morning paper after Clark and the professor left for the museum.
Well, what did that have to do with it?
Now, if those two statements had been true, then the notes would have been underneath the newspaper in the basket.
That's right. I remember now. The notes were on top of the basket with the newspaper underneath them.
So Amara must have torn up the notes herself after she read the paper. And that could only mean that she knew the professor wasn't coming back.
And also that she had solved the secret and didn't need the notes any longer.
Exactly. Of course, we had no way of knowing that she would kill Clark rather than share the jewels. I was expecting both of them to come to the museum to collect.
Oh, Jim, look at the time. We'd better go if we want to get to the museum in time for the private showing of the jewels.
All characters, names, places, and plots used in the Avenger program are fictitious. Any similarity to persons living or dead is purely coincidental.
This is a thought. A thought. A thought. Remember, listen for another adventure of...
The Avenger.
The Blue Beetle. Sweeping down upon the underworld to smash gangland comes
the mysterious, all-powerful character who is a problem to the police, but a crusader for law. In reality, Dan Garrett, a rookie patrolman, loved by everyone, but suspected by none of being the Blue Beetle. As the Blue Beetle, he hides behind a strange mask and a suit of impenetrable blue chain armor, flexible as silk, but stronger than steel.
Today's episode of the Fox feature, The Blue Beetle, is entitled Smashing the Restaurant Racket. There has sprung up in York City an organization called the Cosmopolitan Restaurant Owners Association. Its ostensible purpose is to protect restaurant owners and cafeteria owners from outlaw sit-down strikes. Its real purpose is to extract money from restaurant owners to line the pockets of a few politicians, racketeers, and dishonest union leaders. As our story opens, Patrolman Dan Garrett, who is really the famous Blue Beetle, is discussing the racket with his friend and confidant, Dr. Franz the chemist, in his laboratory back of the little apothecary shop.
You know, Doc, no racket could ever become strongly organized if businessmen weren't so easily intimidated by thugs and strong-arm men.
You're right, Danny. But then the Blue Beetle would be out of a job.
There'll always be crime and criminals for the Blue Beetle to track down.
Yes, unfortunately. Where are you going now, Danny?
Down to headquarters to meet Manigan. He and I are doing a little pavement pounding today.
That doesn't mean a demotion, does it?
No. Mike complained to the chief that he was getting fat from riding around in the patrol car so much. So the chief told Mike to try a little footwork for a while. I said I'd take a trick with him.
Well, I'll bet you two will be into some new case before long.
No doubt. Well, so long, Doc. I'll see you later.
Well, I see Stacy's cafeteria is still being picketed.
Yes. Do they use non-union help?
Not that I know of. His head counterman belongs to Local 65. He's a friend of mine.
I'm going to question that picket. Hey, buddy.
Huh?
Doesn't Stacy hire union employees?
Yeah, but Local 56 don't recognize their local.
Well, what's the matter with their local?
Nothing, I guess, but our president says we got to get our men in Stacy's or else.
Aren't both locals recognized by the AFL or the CIO?
I don't know. All I know is I get $3 a day to walk up and down in front of Stacy's with the sign and say, don't patronize Stacy's cafeteria.
Is Stacy a member of the Cosmopolitan Restaurant Owners Association?
Huh?
You heard me.
Listen, officer, I ain't supposed to know nothing about that. I got a family to support, and I need my job.
You're an accessory to a crime. You know that, don't you?
Well, what do you mean?
He means this Cosmopolitan Association is a crooked racket, and you're aiding them.
Listen, officer, there's a lot of us ain't in favor of some of the things that's done, but we ain't arguing with our bread and butter.
All right, give it on, boys.
Hey, you guys, what do you think you're doing?
Shut up, copper, I'll let you have it. Says who? Come on, Mike, let's round them up. There goes another one.
Yeah, and here's a sock in the nose for the leader. I got him.
Yeah? Well, how do you like this? Oh! Drop that gun or I'll break your arm.
Hold him, Danny. You almost got me. I'll take care of the others. I missed him, begorra. Well, we got their leader anyhow, Danny.
Yes, I've got him handcuffed.
Yeah, you think you're smart, you coppers. Well, take me in and see how quick I can get out.
Take him in, Manigan. I'm going to talk to Stacy.
Okay, Danny. I'll see you at headquarters. Come on, Mug, or I'll fingerprint you with me 4 knuckles.
Well, officer, you arrived rather late. The damage has been done.
Yes, Mr. Stacy, the damage has been done. It was done when the first restaurant owner signed up as a member of the CROA.
I don't know what you mean.
You're not a member of the Cosmopolitan Restaurant Owners Association, are you?
No, and I won't join. He can't make me.
Who's he?
Who, what? Oh, never mind. I'm not talking.
Well, I admire your courage in refusing to join that crooked association. But you should carry your courage further and tell the DA what you know.
Yes, and have my home bombed. Maybe my wife and children killed.
But the law will protect you.
Yeah. It protected me today, didn't it? Look there. Look at my restaurant.
Few windows broken, some customers upset, yes. But we captured the leader of the thugs. He's on his way down to headquarters now.
And he'll be out on bail as quick as he gets there. You mark my words.
That may be true. But we're going to smash this racket eventually. So why don't you and some of the other restaurant owners tell who's behind this racket?
Not me, brother. Why don't you try to get into one of the workers' union meetings? Not all of the rank and file are loyal to their crooked leaders. You might learn a lot about how the racket works.
Say, that's a great idea. I'll do it. Thanks for the suggestion.
Don't thank me. You get some of the higher-ups, the politicians on the run. Then we'll talk, but not before. This may be a free country, but too many of the wrong kind of people are free.
Now, look, Garrett, I'm taking a big chance letting you use my brother's union card to get in here tonight. It's lucky he just joined. Nobody knows him.
I understand.
Now, don't say nothing. Just sit still and listen, or you'll get in Dutch.
All right.
All right. The meeting will come to order. The treasurer will read his report.
Hey, there's a spy down here. He's a copper. He pinched me today.
Hey, you better beat it quick.
Not me,
Come on,
I'll-
hey, you'll get me in trouble. Come on, this way. Make it snappy before it's too late.
There he goes.
Come on, let's clean up the crooks in this union.
Well, Danny, you had a narrow escape from personal injury this evening.
Yes, I couldn't very well have fought that whole hall full of men, although some of them might have helped me.
Yes, but if they'd found a false union card on you, it would have gone hard with the brother of that picket whose card you used.
Yes, it would.
Where are you off to now in your Blue Beetle armor and mask?
I'm paying a midnight visit to the headquarters of the Cosmopolitan Restaurant Owners Association.
What do you expect to find?
The Blue Beetle may be able to do what the DA can't do. Pick up enough evidence to smash the restaurant racket.
Now, look, Stacy. Why don't you get wise and join our association? It'll only cost you $1,000 every 6 months, and all your troubles will be over. No more strikes, no more picketing, no wrecking crews calling on you. You'll get protection. We'll see to it. Am I right, boys?
Sure, that's right.
Well, what do you say, Stacy?
I say no. Both Locals 56 and 65 are supposed to be fighting for jurisdiction in the restaurant business. Yet you're united in running the Cosmopolitan Protective Association. It's a racket pure and simple.
All right, Stacy, if that's your answer. But your family's going to be awful sorry you refused to safeguard their welfare. Okay, Lasker, open the door and let Mr. Stacy walk out into a lot of trouble.
Hey, that's right, the Blue Beetle.
Hey, what brings you here, Blue Beetle? I thought you only chased crooks and criminals. This is a meeting of respectable businessmen.
I see one respectable businessman who can't be bluffed or frightened, but the rest of you are crooks.
Oh, yeah? Well, Mr. Blue Beetle, you or the DA can't prove that, so you'd better bow out.
Yes? Yes, Chief. Okay, right away, Chief. Okay. Well, that's the big boss, Spike.
Yeah?
He wants to see you in his private office right away.
Okay, Lasker. Sorry, Mr. Blue Beetle, but you'll have to excuse me. Private business.
Stay where you are, all of you, or I'll blast you with my magic ray.
All right, Blue Beetle. Now what?
I've always wanted to meet the big boss, as you call him, and now's my chance.
Okay, Mr. Wise Guy. Right in that room there. But watch your step. The big boss don't see people except by appointment. He'll be awful sore.
The Blue Beetle never makes appointments in advance.
Look out, Blue Beetle. It's a trap.
Yeah, good work, Lasker. Now bolt it and move this desk over in front of the door.
Yeah.
Hey, some of you others there. Help Lasker move the desk. Put some chairs on top of it. Now, you'd better beat it, Stacy. You better not be a witness to what's going to happen.
Here, out this way, Stacy. And keep your mouth shut or you'll get some of the same. Okay, Spike, he's gone. What's next?
Bring some of those newspapers and pile them under the desk here and set fire to them.
Hey, but this whole building will burn. It'll go up in flames like a haystack.
Sure, and the Blue Beetle with it.
Okay. There you are, Spike.
And here she goes. Yeah, that's got it. Now, Mr. Blue Beetle, slide out of that one. You'll find the weather rather warm for July in that cloakroom. Come on, boys. Let's get going. We'll have to go out through the secret passage. The cops might blame us for this fire.
What will happen to the Blue Beetle? Will he be able to force his way out of his fiery prison before it is too late? Or will he perish in the flames before he can smash the restaurant racket? These questions will be answered in the next episode of The Blue Beetle. The Blue Beetle is a copyrighted Fox feature appearing in Mystery Men Comics magazine and the Blue Beetle magazine. The Blue Beetle is on the air twice a week on this same station. Consult the broadcast schedule in your local newspapers. And don't forget to listen in to The Blue Beetle. Blue Beetle. Sweeping down upon the underworld to smash gangland comes
the mysterious, all-powerful character who is a problem to the police, but a crusader for law. In reality, Dan Garrett, a rookie patrolman, loved by everyone, but suspected by none of being the Blue Beetle. As the Blue Beetle, he hides behind a strange mask and a suit of impenetrable blue chain armor, flexible as silk, but stronger than steel.
Today's episode of the Fox feature, The Blue Beetle, is the second half of a story entitled Smashing the Restaurant Racket. In the previous episode, Patrolman Dan Garrett learns that the Cosmopolitan Restaurant Owners Association, which has been formed ostensibly by restaurant owners to protect themselves against outlaw strikes, is in reality an organization formed by a group of crooks to extract money from the restaurant owners. In search of evidence and the individual who is the power behind the racket, Dan Garrett, as the Blue Beetle, visits the Cosmopolitan headquarters and encounters two supposedly rival union heads who are working together. By means of a trick, the Blue Beetle is imprisoned in a clothes closet, and as the episode ended, the racketeers were fleeing after setting fire to the building. As our story opens today, the Blue Beetle, having freed himself and also rescued Joan Mason of the Chronicle, whom he found imprisoned in another room, has carried her to the roof of an adjoining building. She is just regaining consciousness.
Oh, where am I?
You're safe. You're on the roof of the building next to the one where I found you. The fireman will be here any minute.
The Blue Beetle.
Yes, and you're Joan Mason. What were you doing in that building?
Trying to get some information from my newspaper about the restaurant racket.
Who locked you in that room?
Spike Gibbons. He discovered me looking over some of the association's private papers and locked me in. Said he'd deal with me later.
Did you find out who is in back of this racket?
Yes, Randall S. Danforth.
Civic leader and road construction contractor?
Yes. He's in with some powerful politicians. They're planning to use the money they collect from the restaurant owners to buy votes in the coming election and to oust the present administration.
Are you sure?
Positive. I have some of the incriminating letters here in my bag.
That's great.
Hey, there's somebody on the roof there. Hello. Are you all right?
That's Officer Manigan and one of the firemen.
You saved my life again, Blue Beetle. It's getting to be a habit. How can I ever repay you?
Keep those papers hidden until I give you the word. That will help me smash this restaurant racket.
Hey there, are you all right? Hey, that looks like the Blue Beetle. It is the Blue Beetle.
Hello, Manigan. Sorry I can't stay to help you. Take care of this girl here. She's worth a lot of money to the citizens of this city.
Well, Danny, the Blue Beetle had a close shave last night.
Yes, but it was worth it.
It was lucky for Joan Mason that you were in the building.
And unlucky for a certain Mr. Danforth.
Oh, what are you going to do?
According to the newspapers, Mr. Danforth is entertaining the mayor at lunch today, after which they'll discuss certain projects for civic betterment. The Blue Beetle is going to drop a bombshell in front of Mr. Danforth at that conference.
Yeah, well, Danforth, you ought to be complimented on your excellent cook. That was one of the best lunches I ever ate.
You should be a good judge of food, Mr. Mayor. You get around to a lot of banquets.
Yes, but I don't get much chance to enjoy them.
Well, now I'd like to show you some plans I've drawn up for a safer highway to completely encircle the city.
Well, that sounds like an expensive project.
Yes, but think of the benefit it will be to the city. It will relieve traffic congestion and facilitate travel to and from vacation spots.
But I think money spent for playgrounds for the youngsters and swimming pools and improvements in our parks would benefit more people, especially the poor and the underprivileged class.
Your sentiments do you justice, Mr. Mayor. My heart also goes out to the poorer citizens and their children living in cheap tenements and having few places to enjoy some of the benefits the more fortunate of us enjoy. But after all...
Who was that? The Blue Beetle.
What are you doing here? Who admitted you to my home?
No one. The Blue Beetle enters where he pleases, when there's a crime to be solved or a criminal to be unmasked.
Well, then, what are you doing here? The mayor and I are discussing plans for civic betterment.
Yes, while secretly you, Danforth, and your gang of extortionists are milking the restaurant owners of money to be used in a political campaign to oust the mayor and the present administration.
You must be crazy to make such an accusation.
Yes, why, Mr. Danforth has sponsored many projects for improving living conditions in this city.
Out of which his construction company has made millions.
Well, naturally, but everything has been legitimate.
Perhaps, but not this restaurant racket.
I can't believe it possible. I know, Blue Beetle, what you have done to reduce crime in this city, and I am grateful. But your present accusations are outrageous. Where is your proof?
If you're interested, I'll take you to someone who has letters and documents to prove that Randall S. Danforth there is the real power behind the Cosmopolitan Restaurant Owners Association. An out-and-out racket.
That's a lie. I'll stand for no more such accusations. I'll have you thrown out. I'll have the police...
Wait. Who is the person who claims to have this proof?
Joan Mason of the York City Chronicle.
That girl who...
Yes.
Where is this girl now?
At her home. I telephoned her to wait there for a call from me.
I'll go with you immediately. Care to face your accuser, Danforth?
Well, I'll face her in court. Meanwhile, I'm going to get in touch with my lawyer. I'll put Joan Mason and the Blue Beetle behind bars.
It will go hard with you, Blue Beetle, if Joan Mason doesn't substantiate your charges. Danforth is a rich and powerful man, as well as a respectable citizen.
Don't worry, Mr. Mayor. Here's the place.
What are all the police doing here?
I took the precaution of phoning the police that Miss Mason was in danger before I visited Danforth tonight.
But why?
I figured he'd order some of his hirelings to do away with her as soon as I disclosed who his accuser was.
Well, if it ain't the Blue Beetle, and he's with his honor the mayor, of all things.
What happened, Manigan?
We caught two thugs trying to break into Miss Mason's apartment. We just sent them away in a patrol wagon.
There you are, Mayor.
Well, I never have believed it. Officer Manigan, come along with us. You're about to make an important arrest.
You mean the Blue Beetle?
No, I mean Randall S. Danforth.
Good evening. Oh, it's his honor, the mayor.
Where is your master, Mr. Danforth?
Sorry, sir, but he left hastily. Took some papers and a change of linen.
Where is he going?
He didn't say exactly, sir. He muttered something about business interests in Mexico.
That's all I want to know. Come on, Blue Beetle. And you too, Manigan. My plane's at the airport. I'll take personal charge of this case myself. Any signs of a plane?
There's something off there to the right.
I'll give it a little more gas.
You're a good pilot, Your Honor.
I was a pilot in the last World War.
How will we recognize Danforth's plane?
Well, he has an insignia painted on his fuselage, typical of his business. Cross shovels bisected by a crowbar.
A double cross. Very fitting.
Why did you insist on leaving Mannigan behind?
Afraid he'd get airsick.
Oh.
I'll take another look with the binoculars. Yes, that's the plane, all right. We're overhauling her.
How do you intend apprehending Danforth?
You'll maneuver this plane alongside his. I'll climb out on the wing and transfer to his plane.
But that will be extremely dangerous.
Danger is my middle name.
Are you sure your parachute's on securely?
Everything's shipshape. Now hold her as steady as you can, Mayor. I'm going out on the wing.
Be careful, Blue Beetle. He may dive or sideslip.
Okay. Miss me, Danforth. That's your last chance. I'm coming after you.
Wait, Blue Beetle. Danforth's bailing out. There he goes.
And here I go after him.
Why doesn't Danforth pull the ripcord of his parachute? He's diving to certain death. And the Blue Beetle's diving after him. The Blue Beetle's parachute has opened, but Danforth has failed to open. It's too late now. He's paying for his sins. The Blue Beetle can chalk up another victory.
Well, Danny, you had a distinguished pilot this afternoon.
Yes, and a good one.
What about the other ringleaders in the restaurant racket?
The police rounded them up, working under the personal direction of the mayor.
Is there enough evidence to convict them?
Yes, the papers Joan Mason saved from the fire were very incriminating.
Then the culprits will be brought to justice.
And the restaurant owners of this city will be free from danger of property damage and personal injury.
Yes. Thanks to the Blue Beetle, the restaurant racket is smashed.
The moral of this story is that power and money, and even good reputation, if used for criminal purposes, will always be found out and defeated. Further adventures of Patrolman Dan Garrett as the Blue Beetle will be presented in the next episode of The Blue Beetle. The Blue Beetle.
Sweeping down upon the underworld to smash gangland comes the mysterious, all-powerful character who is a problem to the police, but a crusader for law. In reality, Dan Garrett, a rookie patrolman, loved by everyone, but suspected by none of being the Blue Beetle. As the Blue Beetle, he behind a strange mask and a suit of impenetrable blue chain armor, flexible as silk, but stronger than steel.
What evil lurks in the hearts of men? The shadow knows.
The Shadow, mysterious character who aids the forces of law and order, is in reality Lamont Cranston, wealthy young man about town. The Shadow uses his hypnotic power to cloud men's minds so that they cannot see him. Cranston's friend and companion, the lovely Margot Lane, is the only person who knows to whom the unseen voice of the Shadow belongs. Today's story, Sandhog Murders. Deep under the river, knee-deep in glacial muck and slime, you'll find them. The Sandhogs, working under terrible pressure. Pressure beating against their eardrums. Pressure forcing little nitrogen bubbles into their bloodstreams. Pressure that causes death. Pressure that keeps the river out of the tunnel that men are building under the river. 100 feet under the river.
How far did we go on that last shot?
27 inches, boss.
Tighten those jacks next to the shield.
Okay.
Yeah, Rodsky speaking. Time? Okay. All right, men, that's all for today. Let's go. Hey, Mr. Pine. Want to get left down here? You better come along and get in the decompression chamber.
Say, I hate to admit this, but when I feel sick, I can hardly move my hand.
That's the same complaint from all visitors to our little rabbit hole. Just give me your arm.
Thank you.
There we are. Come on, into the decompression chamber. Get the move on, all of you.
Glad this shift is over with.
Quit your beak and you get your pay regular, don't you?
Yeah, what do you...
Okay, decompress.
Decompressing.
Mr. Pine, you know what could happen to you if you got left behind?
No.
Ever been in a pressure tunnel before?
No, I haven't.
Well, it ain't no picnic ground, mister. Ever hear of the bends?
Some kind of sickness, isn't it?
It ain't no reducing exercise. I'll tell the world it's sickness. You see, working in these pressure tunnels pumps you full of nitrogen bubbles. And if you was to come out of the pressure too fast, those bubbles would stop your heart quicker than $1 watch.
Yeah, you gotta have the right kind of stomach to stand it.
You know what would happen if we opened that door now?
No, what?
We'd all pop like punctured balloons. The pressures got to go down slow like. Just now we are working under 39 pounds of pressure per square inch.
Say, are you trying to scare me?
Lay off, Jack.
You had enough trouble lately? Hey.
Stop there, why?
Pressure's dropping too fast.
Oh, turn to increase the pressure. Too late.
Did you read the comic strips this morning? They were very humorous. Winnie Winkle's in the hospital. Little Orphan Annie's house burned down, and Andy Gump was hit by a truck. Lamont, I wonder why they call them funny papers. Say, are you listening to me? Listen, Mr. Cranston, you haven't paid the slightest bit of attention to anything I've said to you for the last hour.
I'm sorry, Margot, but that horrible business in the new intercity tunnel has been on my mind.
What business?
8 men were killed in the decompression chamber yesterday.
Decompression chamber?
Something evidently went wrong. Pressure was lowered too suddenly, and they all died terrible deaths.
Well, how did it happen, Lamont?
They don't know. It looks pretty funny. According to the newspaper reports, the men working at the tunnel had been expecting something to happen. There had been several near accidents, and the men were pretty jittery.
Well, you don't suppose that... Oh, Lamont, I know that look in your eye, that old crime detector look. You think that someone had something to do with that accident.
I don't know anything about that, Margot. The reason I'm upset is that Pete Stockton is an old friend of mine. I know just how he must feel to have 8 of his men killed working on his tunnel.
Pete Stockton?
Yes, the contractor. We went to school together. This intercity tunnel is the first big job he's handled alone since his father died about a year ago.
Oh, I see. And you'd like to see him, wouldn't you?
No, Margot, not today. We have a date. I wouldn't think of it.
Oh, that's just the trouble. You do think of it. So I guess we might just as well see this old schoolmate of yours.
Margot, you're wonderful. But about those men who died in the decompression chamber, Pete, how do you explain that? I can't explain it, Lamont. There's been so much trouble around here on this job, and then to have this terrible thing happen. Well, it'll never happen to me again. Well, what do you mean? I'm quitting. I never wanted this tunnel work. I was just doing it for Dad's sake. Well, he's dead now. Joe Brandy and other contractors agreed to take the whole thing off my hands. Quitting? Yes. I couldn't stand another experience like this one. All those men left wives, sweethearts, mothers. How can I ever repay them? Make up to them for their loss.
Hey, Pete. Ned wants to talk to you. He wants to go back to work.
What, did you tell them that Brandy was taking over Monday?
I told them, but they want to work for you, not Brandley.
Well, I guess I'll have to tell them myself. Oh, by the way, this is Pop Berkey. Miss Lane.
How do you do?
Mr. Cranston.
How do you do?
Pop's an old-timer. He and my dad broke into the business together. Well, ask him anything you want to know about sandhogging. I'll be back in a few minutes.
He's taking the whole thing pretty hard, isn't he?
Yes. I'd like to help him, Margot. He's a swell guy.
First time you two have been around the tunnel in the making?
What? Oh, yes. It's very interesting, isn't it? But is it necessary to keep everything so greasy?
Mr. Berkey, what caused the accident in the decompression chamber?
Are you asking me what or who?
So, you think that the accident wasn't exactly an accident?
I got my own ideas, but I'm not saying.
If you know anything, Mr. Berkey, you've got to tell me.
Well, now, supposing you were in the contracting business, and another contractor beat you out on a big job, an important job. Wouldn't you try a couple of little things to get the job back?
You call the murder of 8 men little things?
Maybe you didn't want to kill the men in the decompression chamber. Maybe you just wanted to scare them so they'd be afraid to work for your right.
But to take a chance with men's lives.
Lady, you don't know Joe Brandley.
Joe Brandley? The man who's taking over the contract from Stockton?
Yeah. And a dirtier man would be impossible to find. He wouldn't stop at anything. Looks like he won out pretty easy, don't it? Pete studied the contract offered to him Monday.
Well, he hasn't won yet. Pop Berkey, if you see anything suspicious happening around here, I want you to call me immediately. You understand?
Right.
Come along, Margot.
We'll stop that fella Brandley.
Margot, I think the Shadow is going to pay a call on a certain Mr. Brandley.
Oh. Why should I be afraid? What? Stockton is turning the job over to me? What? At the tunnel? When? Tonight. Yeah, well, let him try it. I'll be at that tunnel and settle this thing once and for all. Yeah. Thanks for the information. Goodbye.
Thank you for the information, Mr. Brindley.
What? Who spoke?
I did, Mr. Brindley.
Who are you?
I am called the Shadow.
Oh, where are you? I can't see you.
I have willed it that you won't see me, Brindley. I've cast a mist over your mind that makes me invisible to your eyes.
What do you want of me?
I would like to know more about that phone conversation you just had. I believe it was concerned with the murders in the new intercity tunnel.
Murders? Those men were supposed to die by accident.
Did you have anything to do with that accident, Mr. Brandley?
What are you talking about?
I'm asking you, did you have anything to do with those murders?
No, nothing.
Then who were you speaking to on the telephone?
Why should I tell you?
You'd better talk, Mr. Brandley.
You haven't got anything on me.
That's true. I can't pin anything on you just now. But let me warn you, Mr. Brandley. The Shadow intends to prevent anyone from destroying the intercity tunnel.
Who's there? Oh, it's you, Mr. Cranston. I couldn't see you in the dark.
Yes, Pop Berkey.
Oh, Mom, thank heaven you've come.
Margot, what are you doing here at the tunnel?
Well, I was waiting for you at your apartment, Lamont, when Mr. Berkey called.
You asked me to call you if anything suspicious was going on here.
And something suspicious is going on here.
There's someone down in the tunnel, Mr. Cranston.
Yes, I know. I expected the killer would make his move tonight with the tunnel deserted. But what are you doing here, Margot?
Well, I don't know, but I didn't know how to get in touch with you, so I thought I'd see what I could do in your absence. I left a note for you at your apartment, Lamont. Oh, am I glad you've come. The very idea of going down into that empty tunnel gives me the cold chill.
Now, wait a minute, Margot. What were you expecting to do down in the tunnel?
What was I expecting to do? Why, I was... Well, now that you mention it, what was I expecting to do?
Margot, we're dealing with a desperate man. Do you realize what might be waiting for you down there?
Mr. Cranston, he's down in the tunnel, all right. The elevator was at the bottom of the shaft when I came back from dinner.
Berkey, what can he do to the tunnel?
He could set a time bomb and blow it to pieces.
Well, let's go.
Where?
We're going down into the tunnel, Margot, on a manhunt. You better wait here.
All alone?
We won't be going long.
Not me. I'd rather go down the tunnel.
All right, then, let's go. Now, where's the elevator, Berkey?
Over this way. I have some boots for you to wear. It's a little muddy down below.
All right. Yeah, step in, Margot.
It's like going down into a coal mine, isn't it?
Margot, have you ever been down in a coal mine?
No. But this is the way I imagine it would be.
Oh.
How deep is this?
What?
This elevator shaft.
About 100 feet or so. It isn't very deep.
It's deep enough for me, thanks.
This will take us down to the tunnel.
What happened?
We've arrived, Margot. That's all.
That's enough.
All right, step out. Look out for the mud and water. Better walk on the planks.
Wait a minute. Flash your light around, Berkey. Well, no one here. All right, lead on, Berkey.
Gloomy-looking place, isn't it? Sort of scary, too.
You're just outside the tunnel now.
All right, step in, Margot.
Is this the tunnel?
Not yet, lady. This is the decompression chamber.
Oh, yes, the what? I'm not going in that thing.
It was the only way we can get into the tunnel, Margot.
Well, isn't that the place where those men were... Say, I don't think I'm going to like this.
Come on, Margot. It's too late to back out now.
Well, I'll get in, but it's under protest.
Okay, Berkey. Shut the door.
What's that hissing sound?
That means that air is being pumped into this chamber. We're going under pressure.
No, I don't like it.
Your ears hurt, huh? The pressure. You'll get used to it.
I don't intend to get used to it.
It's necessary, Margot. You see, we've got to adjust the pressure in our bodies to the pressure in the tunnel before we can enter it.
Well, pressure's even now. Ah, this is the tunnel. The river is right overhead, lady.
Oh, it's so dark.
Can you give us some light, Berkey? I wouldn't want someone sneaking up behind me in the dark. Yeah, that's better.
Goodness, it's muddy down here.
Now what, Mr. Berkey?
Now we'll take a look around.
Knowing you, Lamont, certainly gets me into the darndest places.
You're not sorry, are you?
No, but I do wish
Hey,
that...
look. I'm going back to the decompression chamber to see that whoever it is don't try to slip out while you're looking toward the center of the tunnel.
That's a good idea. We'll go on ahead. Come on, Margot.
Lamont, do you think that was such a good idea?
What?
Sending him back to guard the exit. Suppose whoever it is down here overpowers him and locks us in.
Don't be silly, Margot. That couldn't happen. Berkey's no...
The lights, they've gone out.
Berkey! Berkey, what's wrong? Berkey! Come on, Margot. We've got to get out of here.
I can't see anything, Lamont. I can't run in the dark.
Over this way, Margot. Hey, give me a hand.
All right.
Here's the door. Let us out of here. Berkey! Berkey!
I don't think he can help us now. Well, what are we going to do?
I guess we'll have to wait until someone comes and lets us out.
That's a pleasant thought. Not really spending a night in this place. What's that?
It sounds like a phone.
Down here?
Yeah, a foreman probably uses it to speak to his boss above ground.
Well, where is it?
Well, the sound came from... Oh, there it is. Hello?
Well, Mr. Cranston, I guess this'll teach you not to poke your nose into something that doesn't concern you.
Who is this?
Makes no difference now, Mr. Cranston. You're gonna die. You hear me? Die.
Brantley, listen to me. I don't care about myself. But surely you won't do this to a woman.
Sorry I can't oblige you, but she's got to go, too. Now I'm gonna step up the pressure in the tunnel till your eardrums crack. Up it'll go until the whole tunnel will explode, just like a punctured balloon. The river will rush in, and you'll be drowned like rats in a trap.
Hello? Hello? Oh, he's hung up.
What is it, Lamont? Oh, the lights are on again.
Margot, I've got something to say to you, and it's not going to be easy.
Yes, Lamont?
This is the end for us. We're going to die here in this hole, Margot.
Lamont, I'm not afraid to die.
Margot, all I can see is I know now that I've been right about you.
Thanks, Lamont. Is it Brantley?
I don't know, Margot. I think so.
Lamont, what's that?
I'm afraid he's going to carry out his threat. He's going to increase the pressure till it blows this tunnel to bits.
Well, this is to be the last few minutes I'm going to spend on this earth. I'm at least going to be gay about it. I'm not going out with a frown on my face.
And a very lovely face it is, too, Margot.
Why, Lamont, do you realize it's practically the first compliment you've ever paid me?
Well, it just proves what a stuffy guy I've been.
Oh, a pretty swell guy, if anyone should ask. There's never been a dull moment on our merry-go-round.
We have had great times together, haven't we?
I wouldn't trade them for anything, Lamont. Oh, Lamont. Oh, my ears hurt. My head.
Yeah. Well, Margot. Pressure's going up really rapidly. I guess he wants to finish us off in a hurry.
Oh, it's warm and damp down here.
Yeah. Pressure must be up pretty high now. We won't have long to wait.
Here's getting so misty.
Margot.
What is it, Lamont?
Margot. The minute that weak part of the tunnel up there, the part that hasn't been reinforced, is going to give way. The river's going to rush in. If we climb up this framework here, we'll be able to hold out longer.
Well, what difference will that make?
I don't know, Margot, but come on. Let's climb.
All right, Lamont. If it'll make you any happier.
Here. Give me a hand. I'll help you. Come on.
Come on,
Well, Commissioner Weston, we pumped all the water out of the tunnel. Found no trace of Margot or Lamont's bodies. They must have been washed into the river.
Yeah. You know, they were both personal friends of mine, too.
Yes, I know.
Well, that's the way it goes.
Lamont was trying to help me. I was going to give up the whole job, Commissioner, but now I'm going ahead with it. If he thought that much of me,
Yeah, I understand. Well, now tell me about this Pop Berkey.
Well, it's simple enough. I found Pop myself. He was just outside the tunnel, unconscious from a blow on his head.
How long have you known him?
Well, he and my dad broke into sand hogging together. Later, when a tunnel accident made Berkey unfit for work underground, Dad always found a job for him up above. And, I sort of followed in Dad's footsteps.
Well, this whole business proves one thing. That so-called accident in the tunnel where the 8 men were killed was no accident. I'll have my men stationed at the tunnel tomorrow when you go back to work.
I'd appreciate it, Commissioner Weston.
That's all right. You know, I'm going to miss that fellow Cranston. Doctor, do you mind if I stay here a while and look this room over?
No, not at all, Commissioner Weston. I've got to go down below in the tunnel and talk to the men. If anything happens this time...
Nothing's going to happen, Mr. Stockton. Not while I'm here. Good luck, son.
Good luck. Yeah, thanks.
Commissioner Weston.
Huh? What?
It's the Shadow, Commissioner.
The Shadow. Well, my friend, what are you doing here?
I'm here to help you catch the murderer. That's what you're here for, isn't it?
Yeah, sure. But who is he?
Softly, Commissioner, softly. You wouldn't want to scare our murderer away, would you?
Is he here?
Very close now. In just a moment, he'll come into this room. This is what he's been waiting for. You see, the lives of the men in the tunnel depend on the proper functioning of the pump machinery here. The murderer will attempt to destroy the pump and kill the men down in the tunnel. This is to be his final job. For today, for the first time, Peter Stockton is down below.
Well, he won't get away with it.
Quiet, Commissioner. I think this is our man now. Quick, hide behind the machinery.
Yeah, right.
Here it is. The main induction valve. Now, Mr. Stockton, you're going to pay for what your father did to me.
Shoot him! I'll get him! Hey, stop me! I'll stop you, all right?
Well, let's see who it is. Why, it's Pop Berkey. I've killed old Pop Berkey.
No, Commissioner. He'll live to pay for his crimes.
Come to be witnesses.
Wait, what? Cranston and you, Miss Lane, I thought you were...
Yes, I know, Commissioner, but...
I'll have...
Well, aren't you glad to see us?
Oh, of course. But how did you get out? Where have you been? You were in the tunnel, weren't you?
One question at a time, Commissioner. We were in the tunnel, all right, but we escaped.
Escaped?
Yes, we climbed to the top of the tunnel just before the blow-off came.
You climbed?
There was an air pocket, a very wonderful air pocket.
Don't forget the details, Margot.
Oh, yes. I ruined a perfectly good pair of stockings.
Oh, that's... No, but how did you get out?
Through the escape chamber. Berkey had forgotten all about that.
But Lamont hadn't. He found it, didn't you, Lamont? right at the top of the tunnel. Let me tell you something, Commissioner.
Yeah?
If you ever get stuck in a tunnel, have Lamont along.
Well, I still don't understand it.
What about Berkey?
He confessed everything last night. It seems he hated Stockton because he thought Stockton's father was responsible for his accident. Also, because Stockton's father married the woman he loved. Couldn't get even with his old man, so he was going to take it out on the son. Then he tried to implicate Brandley to shield himself.
Well, I guess you've got all the evidence you need, Commissioner, so Margot and I will be running along.
Wait a minute. I'm not through with you two yet. Why didn't you let people know that you were safe?
Because, Commissioner, we couldn't resist satisfying a lifelong ambition.
What's that?
Reading our own obituaries.
Today's program is based on a story copyrighted by the Shadow magazine. The characters, names, places, and plot are fictitious. Any similarity to persons living or dead is purely coincidental. The Shadow magazine is on sale at your local newsstand.
The weed of crime bears bitter fruit. Crime does not pay. The Shadow knows.
The Green Hornet. He hunts the biggest of all game, public enemies who try to destroy our America. Ride with Britt Reed in a thrilling adventure, The Hornet Does It. The Green Hornet strikes again. Jack Kenley stood watching as the guard at the state prison unlocked the last iron gate that meant the outside and freedom once more.
Okay, Kenley. That is.
Thanks.
Take a good rest and then get yourself a decent job. You'll soon forget the 3 years you put in up here. So long.
So long.
Hey, Jack.
What?
Over here. We come to meet you, Jack. This is a friend of mine, Sox Harris.
Glad to know you, Kenley.
Yeah. Same here.
Come on, get in.
Well, Okay.
Get going, Sox. You don't say much, Jack. Aren't you glad we met you?
Sure. But I was thinking.
What?
Why did you meet me, Steve?
Listen to him, Sox. Thinks because he's done a little time in stir, his friends have given him up. Is that it, Jack?
Look, Steve. You came to meet me out of the kindness of your heart. Let it go at that. But, well, I know you better than that.
I guess you don't appreciate us coming all the way up here for him, huh, Steve?
Jack's the suspicious kind, that's all, Sox.
Oh, so that's it. Guess being in stir makes a guy like that, huh?
Listen, you, keep your mouth shut.
Now, take it easy, Jack. Sox didn't mean anything by what he said. Can't you take a little kidding?
Yeah, I was just kidding, Jack.
Well, I'm not in the mood for kidding, see? I didn't ask you guys to come here to meet me anyway.
Look, Jack, you've had a tough time. You'll need help getting back on your feet. And I've got something lined up that'll give you all you need for a while.
Are you crazy? Don't you realize I've just left the pen after a 3-year stretch? I'm not in line for any job, unless it's on the level.
Aren't you forgetting something, Jack?
Like what, for instance?
I've got evidence against you that could send you back to the pen. Remember?
Why, you...
Look out, you want to wreck us, you fool?
We almost run off the road that time.
And cut out the cracks and the threats, you hear?
Why, Jack, you don't sound like an old friend of mine at all when you talk that way. Here we go and line up something that'll put us in the door. We count you in, come to meet you. And you talk like a stir-happy dope.
Well, that's the way I feel about
Listen,
it.
you're going to help us. That's that.
Now, wait a minute.
Oh, you wait a minute. The old hijacking racket is here to pay off again. We know where we can grab off a load of sugar. And we know where to get rid of it. At a high price.
But, Steve,
when you hear the deal and the plans we have, you'll change your mind, Jack. Step on it, Sox.
Yeah.
I want to have a nice long talk with Jack when we get to my place. He'll soon be in the dough in spite of himself.
It was several nights later. A motorboat made its way across the river, heading for a certain warehouse near the city docks.
Here comes a police boat. We better stop.
Okay, shut off the motor. We have the necessary papers, so we don't have to worry. Ahoy there! We're coming aboard. Come ahead, officer. What kind of load are you carrying?
It's okay, officer. Got a load of sugar. Got the papers right here.
Let me see them. Carrying sugar, huh? Say, these papers aren't in order. We'll have to take you in until you explain. Both of you board our boat. My man here will bring your boat in. Hey, Jack, stand by to take on 2 passengers.
Okay. Let them come aboard. Hey, wait a minute.
What's the matter?
That ain't no police boat. Look.
Huh? Well, I'll be... Hey, you guys aren't cops, and we ain't leaving this boat.
No, we're Sox. Right. No, I'll get you for
you
that.
Use the butt of your gun, Sox.
Yeah, I got him. Should we toss him into the river, Steve?
No, we'll put them in the tender, and then set them adrift. Somebody will pick them up sooner or later. Meantime, we have a swell load of sugar that'll bring a big price.
It was well after midnight when Gunnigan, city editor of the Daily Sentinel, received a phone call from Mike Axford, Sentinel reporter.
City room, Daily Sentinel.
Gunnigan, this is Axford. I'm calling from Cops headquarters.
Oh, it's you. Where the same hill have you been all evening? I've needed somebody to get the dope on the... Well, why didn't you say so? That's the trouble with you, Mike. You talk all around the bush when you... What's the news you got?
If you'll stop yapping a minute, I'll give it to you. Now listen. 2 guys are bringing a boatload of sugar over from the warehouse across the river. They were stopped by some hijackers posing as cops. Imagine those crooks having the nerve to
Get on with the story.
Oh, yeah. Well, the hijackers tied the guys up and set them adrift. They were picked up just a while ago.
Who, the crooks?
No, not the crooks. The guys the crooks tied up and set adrift.
Then the hijackers got away with a load of sugar, huh?
What do you think they did? Sat out there in the middle of the river and made themselves some fudge? Of course they got away with the sugar.
Okay. If the cops got...
No, they ain't. So long.
Oh. Copy, boy. Copy, boy. That's the next speed. Pittsburgh, gang, hijacks, boatload of sugar.
Yes, sir.
Here you are, sir. Fruits, better, grapes. Give me one of those. Here you are, sir. Read all about it. That's the next speed. Pittsburgh.
The following morning, Britt Reed, young publisher of the Daily Sentinel, was in the city room talking to Gunnigan and Axford.
Those crooks pulled a new angle on the old hijacking racket this time.
Sure. And believe me, Reed, Sarge is about to bust a button over thinking they posed as harbor cops.
Have the cops got any line on them, Axford?
Nope. The boat was found this morning in a cove up the river. They must have run in there to transfer the cargo.
I suppose the police will keep a close watch on the river from now on.
Sure. And more than that.
What do you mean, and more than that?
The cops are going to run a boat over each night with a couple of plainclothesmen on it to see if anyone tries to stop it.
Hoping to trick the crooks, huh?
That's the general idea you're going to get.
I should think the crooks would be on guard against something like that if they're smart.
Maybe so. But the cops have to try something. You never can tell. Them crooks might take another crack at it. And if they do, they'll be grabbed.
Well, let us know if the police run into anything, Axford. If they get away with it, others will start hijacking again. Things will just be like they used to be.
I'll stick with the cops, and if anything happens, I'll let you know. You can bet your life Sarge won't let up till he does get a line on them smart Alex who go around posing as cops. They'll be a plenty sorry when they do get caught. Mark my word.
That night, Jack Kenley was with Steve and Socks in Steve's hideout apartment.
Well, fellas, that job sure went off like clockwork. I disposed of that sugar to a friend who owns a roadhouse.
How about a cut, Steve?
You'll get your cut. After we pull another job.
Listen here, Steve. The cops are watching the river. We can't pull the same sort of job twice. Anyway, why can't we call it quits? Should have gotten enough dough for that sugar to make it worthwhile.
What we're getting for selling that sugar doesn't satisfy me, Jack. I have another job lined up. And it's not on the river.
Not on the river? What is it?
It's another sugar deal.
Another one?
Well, sure. Haven't you heard there's a shortage of sugar? It's one of the few items that are still rationed.
Yeah, but what will we do with this load of sugar if we got it?
I got that plan, too. Don't worry.
Where do we get the load of sugar, Steve?
On the pike. Later tonight. I know just about when it's coming in. And we'll be waiting for it.
Well, them truck drivers are wise. It ain't easy to get them to stop.
He'll stop, all right. I've rigged the siren from the boat onto my car. We'll pull that cop gag again. Get it?
I don't want to have any part of it.
Jack, you're sure hard to convince, aren't you? But you'll come along with us. And like it.
Posing as cops like that. We'll have the whole force out hunting us. Sooner or later, they'll get on our trail.
Yeah, that's right, Steve. Once was bad enough, but they'll go nutty if we keep it up.
Pipe down, Socks. Don't let this guy give you a case of nerves. Naturally, the cops will do everything they can to find the ones who are posing as them.
Yeah, that's what we mean.
But I've got a plan that'll make them look for somebody else.
What do you mean by that?
Who'll they be looking for?
I got it all figured out. And when the time comes, you'll both see what I mean.
Why don't you tell us now?
Yeah, what's your big secret?
Well, it really isn't any big secret. Guess I might as well let you in on it. Now, listen. Here's just how I'm going to work it after we stop that truck tonight.
Are you sure that's a sugar truck ahead of us, Steve?
That's it, all right. Step on it. We'll start closing in.
We're taking a bigger risk than ever, Steve.
Shut up, will you? I guess it's time to sound the siren. Here goes.
He's pulling over.
Stop right behind him. You stay here with the car, Jack. Come on, Socks.
Come on.
Hey, what are you stopping me for? I wasn't... Hey, you ain't cops.
Get out of that truck. Hey, let go of me. Oh. That did it. You can drive the truck, Socks. We leave him in the ditch with a nice little sign for the cops to follow. That'll keep him busy for a while.
The following morning, in Britt Reed's office, his secretary, Lenore Case, was going over the mail.
These in your basket are the most important, Mr. Reed.
Well, thanks, Miss Case. I'll get out this afternoon.
Good morning, Reed. Hi, Casey.
What got you out of bed so early, Expert?
Early, is it? Huh. I was at cops' headquarters before you were up, I'll bet you.
Anything new on the hijacking case?
That's what I came to tell you, Reed. I already gave the story to rewrite.
Well, he brought in a story for a change.
Quiet, Casey. This is no time for kidding.
What's the story?
Well, a truck driver, was found last night on the pike, in the ditch. He didn't come to till this morning.
Well?
He was stopped on the pike by a car with a siren. He thought it was cops after him.
The same hijackers.
Seems like it.
Sure, but now the cops know who they're looking for.
Really?
Yep. When he was found, there was a seal stuck right on his forehead. 'Twas the seal of none other than the Green Hornet.
We'll continue our Green Hornet adventure in just a moment. The morning following the truck holdup, Mike Axford was telling Britt Reed and Miss Case that the driver was found with the seal of the Green Hornet on his forehead, and that he'd been stopped by a car with a siren.
In that case, Michael, it must have been the Hornet and his gang who hijacked that boatload of sugar, too.
Sure, that goes without saying. Believe me, Sarge is raving because that spalpeen pulls that cop gag to get people to stop. He's fit to be tied now that he knows it's the Hornet.
Did the truck driver say whoever stopped him was disguised as the Hornet, Axford?
Yeah, he said the guy wore a mask, all right. There was another one, but the driver didn't get a look at him.
I see. What about the men who were stopped in the boat? Did they say it was the Hornet?
Huh. Come to think of it, they didn't, Reed.
I should think they would have if it had been the Hornet who stopped them.
Well, that's what I think.
Oh, all they said was that 2 men came aboard and socked him. There was another waiting in the other boat.
And why does Sergeant Burke think the Hornet did that job, too?
Hey, you got something there, Reed. I guess the Hornet heard about the hijacking of the boat and decided that siren was a good idea, so he used it on the last job.
That could be the answer, of course.
I'll have to point out what you said to Sarge, Reed. But by the way he's feeling, he'll probably blame both jobs on the Hornet anyway. He ain't in a good mood at all.
I can understand that.
Yes, so can I.
Well, I'll be getting along. Sarge can question them boatmen again, just to make sure it wasn't the Hornet stopped them.
I'm sure the Green Hornet won't like being blamed for both jobs. You can bet on that.
He probably won't.
Who'll give the hoot what the Green Hornet thinks, there, Reed?
I guess you're right.
I knew you'd agree with me on that. See you later. So long.
After Axford in this case had left his office, Britt Reed reached Cato at the apartment by private telephone and was giving him certain instructions. You'd better get that out right away, Cato. It's only 10:30 a.m. now, so it ought to get there by late afternoon.
Yes, sir. I get it right out.
Use the special paper. Be careful of fingerprints.
I'll be very careful, Mr. Britt. You think it do trick, perhaps?
I can't tell, but I hope it'll start things moving. If it does, we'll be going out tonight.
That good. I'll be ready. Anything else?
That's all. See you at dinner time.
Yes, sir. I'll be here. Goodbye.
Goodbye, Cato. Late that afternoon at police headquarters.
What's on your mind, Ernie?
Well, here's a special delivery, Sarge. Just says police headquarters on it.
Well, don't stand there staring at it. Give me it.
What do you think it is, Sarge?
How do I know, Ashford? I ain't one of them mind readers.
Read it!
What do you think I'm going to do? Eat it? Shut up a minute. Let's see now. To the cops. I've read the papers. I don't like to be blamed for things I don't do. I have a lead to those hijacking crooks, and maybe after I get through with them, you can have what's left. The Green Hornet.
Glory be. Holy crow, let me see that.
Hey, give me that.
I gotta phone the sentinel. But that knows that... Hold your horses, Sarge. I'll be right back. Gunnigan will make a good story out of this.
Hey, Steve. I just got late edition of the Sentinel. What of it, Sox? Well, it says I'm sore about being blamed for them holdups. Says he's going to lead to us. He's going to get to us before the cops do, he says.
Pipe down. Jack is sleeping in the other room. Let's go down to the bar and talk it over. Come on.
So, the Hornet's after us. Says he's got a lead to us. I'm going to the cops. I've had enough of this. I don't care what Steve does now.
Sox and Steve sat at a table near the window of the bar.
Listen, Sox, you have to be more careful of what you say when Jack's around. The way you came busting in with that newspaper, yelling about the Green Hornet being after us, it was enough to make that jittery dope run to the cops for protection if he'd heard you.
Oh, I wasn't yelling. I don't guess he heard me anyway.
Well, just be more careful, that's all. I don't want any... Hey, wait a minute.
Hey, what's the matter? What are you looking at through the Venetian blind, Steve?
Look. Over there, waiting at the streetcar stop.
Hey, that looks like Jack.
It is Jack. That street light shining right on his face. He's waiting for a car that's headed downtown.
But I thought he was back at the place sleeping.
Sox, I bet he heard what you said. Maybe he's not up to what I think he might be. We'll have to be sure. Come on.
Where we going? Gonna make him go back to his place?
No. We're going to get the car and follow that streetcar to the place where he gets off. And we'll tail him. If he's not on the level with us, he'll be mighty sorry.
Meantime, Britt Reed had left his office and had gone to his apartment, where Cato was waiting.
I mailed printed note like you say to do, Mr. Britt.
I know. Axford phoned in and said the police received it.
What you expect to happen now?
I'm hoping one of those crooks will be frightened enough to seek protection from the police. Of course, I'll want to make sure. Also, they may not be able to get him to squeal on the others. So if we could spot him going into headquarters...
Will then Green Hornet risk getting to Crook to make him tell where others are?
That's the general idea. We'll take the Black Beauty and decide on the way just what we will do. Let's go. Stepping through a secret panel in the rear of the closet in the bedroom, Britt Reed and Cato went along a narrow passageway built within the walls of the apartment itself. This passage led to an adjoining building, which fronted on a dark side street. Though supposedly abandoned, this building served as the hiding place for the sleek, superpowered Black Beauty, streamlined car of the Green Hornet. Britt Reed pressed a button. The great car roared into life. A section of the wall in front raised automatically, then closed as the gleaming Black Beauty sped into the darkness. For several hours, Britt and Cato waited in the Black Beauty, which was parked in a dark alley, from which they could watch the entrance to police headquarters. There was little traffic and few people on the street.
Well, how you expect to know if Crook comes, Mr. Britt? We'll already be here a very long time.
I figured one of the crooks might fear a visit from the Hornet tonight, and we go to the police for protection. It's taking a long chance, but I'm watching for a man who seems nervous and who hesitates about going in.
No one but police go in and out since we're here.
So I noticed. They'd have a shock if they knew the Hornet was watching them.
Well, they not think Green Hornet dare to park so close to police. Oh, look. Someone come around corner. He get off streetcar, perhaps.
Yes. We'll watch him closely.
He going toward police station.
That's right. Look. He stopped walking.
He seemed like he going back, maybe.
Wait. There he goes. But he's walking more slowly.
Well, he act peculiar. Keep looking around. You think he man we wait for?
Hard to tell. He's walking by the entrance.
Oh, then he not the one. If he go by...
He stopped again. Oh, he's turning around and going back. Cato, I think we'll...
Oh, look. Car coming fast. He's on the wrong side of street.
On the side that man's on. Cato, start the car, quick. Swing in front of that car and make it pull over to the other side, away from that man.
They shoot at man.
Help! After them, Cato. They're the men we want. A short time later, inside police headquarters...
You sure had a narrow escape, fella.
Yeah, I did.
I ran out just in time to see the Hornet car leaving.
Yeah, it was a Hornet, all right. The shots came from the other car, like I told you. It was Stephen Socks, the two men who made me pull those jobs with him.
Where are they hiding out? Where can we find them?
They found out I came here and followed. They won't go back to the hideout now. They'll get away. But I don't care. I'd rather be in the pen again than have that Hornet after me.
Well, I can't say that I blame you. Of course, you might get time off for turning state's evidence against those other two, if we ever catch them.
It looks to me like them and the Hornet were after you at the same time.
Well, seeing as how you told us the jobs weren't pulled by the Hornet, you can't blame him for getting after you like he did.
But Steve planned the whole thing.
It was Steve who had the idea of putting the blame on the Hornet.
Maybe so, but then...
Something snakes. That's the Hornet's car outside.
Come on. Watch that guy, somebody.
Okay, sir.
Great day. What's this?
Looks like a couple of bodies.
Let's see. Hey, Sarge. They ain't dead. They're gassed. By the Hornet, no doubt.
Hey, some of you guys come and help us. Come on. Come on, get them inside.
They might as well be dead. They're out like a light. Give me a hand.
Sure, let's go. Take his feet there.
Put them down.
Who do you think they are, Sarge?
Hey, that's Steve. In socks. The Hornet caught up with him and brought him here.
Hey, that's exactly what happened.
Then you got the whole gang that pulled those hijacking jobs, Sarge.
That's right. And I'm ready to tell all I know. I don't care what Steve does.
Where am I?
Where are you? Take a look around, buddy. You'll soon be finding out.
Oh, Cops. Well, how did we get here?
As if you don't know. You were caught by the Green Hornet and gassed, weren't you? That's who brought you here. And dumped you right on the front step.
He's the guy who said he was smart.
Smart? Oh, him? They don't come too smart for the Hornet, that they don't. Believe me, there's one guy who always comes through with the scoop when he lets loose.
Scoop, you say? I thought I saw a Clarion reporter busting past the door a minute ago. So if you want to keep your job...
Holy crow! Gangway, everybody! I got to phone the sentinel! The Hornet's done it again!
Set the next street, Pittsburgh, hijackers caught, Green Hornet implicated. Read all about it, Green Hornet still in charge. Set the next street, Pittsburgh!
These popular radio dramas, created by George W. Trendle, are a copyrighted feature of the Green Hornet, Incorporated. All characters, names, places, and incidents used are fictitious.
Presenting the transcription feature, Superman.
Up in the sky! Look! It's a bird! It's a plane! It's Superman!
And now, Superman, champion of the weak and the oppressed, strange visitor from interplanetary space who has arrived on Earth to fight for the cause of justice, and in his disguise as Clark Kent news reporter to investigate the ways and lives of men. When we last saw him, Kent was one of a small group made up of the ambulance surgeon, the fire chief, a photographer from the Daily Planet, and the half-hysterical unknown girl whom Kent, as Superman, had just rescued from the blazing inferno of the Sterling Tower. As she was borne off to the ambulance, the girl broke into wild, delirious cries of, "Stop them! Catch them! Catch them!" and then lapsed again into unconsciousness. Today, as our story continues, Kent is waiting in a reception room of the hospital, hoping that the girl, whose identity is still unknown, will recover enough to tell who she is and throw light on the mysterious origin of the fire, which authorities are convinced was purposely set. But meanwhile, as Kent waits in the reception room, a powerful black sedan speeds through the night, far out of town on a highway for the west. Two men are tense in the front seat. One holds the wheel, while the other nervously turns the dials of the car's radio. Listen.
Watch it, Bart. Curve coming up.
I'm not blind. I can see it.
Hey! You have to do that.
Listen, Joe, the more miles we put between us and the Sterling Tower, the better. And the quicker, the better, too.
You think it's all over?
Certainly it's all over. They'll never even find her, let alone catch on about us. What are you doing with that radio?
Picking up the late news.
Oh, what's the matter? Worried about your investments?
We might hear something.
Well, I can tell you one thing. North Star Mining went down. About 20 floors down.
Don't be so funny.
Yeah, and if that girl had ever got out with her story, it'd be lower than that. And us along with it.
and at the moment, on all fronts, there are no further developments. Locally, interest still centers on the mysterious fire which destroyed the Sterling Tower early today.
This is it. Listen.
Fire department officials are waiting to explore the ruins. To confirm suspicions, the fire was of incendiary origin.
What's that? Stop the car. Pull up.
Unfortunately, the only victim of the fire who can throw light on this angle is a former secretary employed by the North Star Mining Company.
What?
Company offices of the North Star Mining Company were on the 20th floor of the tower where the fire started, but the girl escaped under mysterious circumstances. She is now in a critical condition at the city hospital.
Escape? She couldn't have. It's not possible.
Representatives of the district attorney's office are waiting to question the young secretary if and when her condition makes it possible.
Question her? Bart, you hear that?
Meanwhile, Metropolitan Police are searching for two of the mining company's chief executives who have mysteriously disappeared. Bartley Pemberton, company's president, and Joseph Deneen, treasurer and vice president in charge of operations, both of whom are wanted for questioning. If they...
Bart, why'd you shut it off? We want to hear the rest of it.
I heard enough, Joe. More than enough.
Hey, Bart, where are you going? What are you turning around for?
Where am I going? Where do you think I'm going, you fool?
But you're turning back.
You bet I'm turning back. Right back where we came from.
Bart, you're crazy. We gotta get away.
We can't get away. Not now. Not till we fix that girl so she can't squeal. Where did the guy say? City hospital?
What are you gonna do?
Now listen, Joe. Pull yourself together. You're in this just as much as I am.
I know, but...
A couple of that girl's relatives, her cousin and her old uncle, that's you and me, are going to call on her the minute she's well enough and see her alone.
We can't. They'll get us. Wait, Bart.
Wait, nothing. We've got to get to her before she sees the DA. Now, hang on.
Dr. Palmer wanted in surgery. Dr. Palmer wanted in surgery. Dr. Burns, report to 804. Dr. Burns, report to 804.
Boy, a hospital sure does a rushing business in doctors. Hello there, nurse.
Hello, Mr. Kent. Still waiting around?
Oh, sure. I haven't anything else to do.
Well, you're all alone now.
Huh? What do you mean?
Well, the man from the district attorney's office gave it up.
Oh?
He said to call him when the girl wakes up.
How is she, nurse? Think she'll pull through all right?
She's pulled through already. It was just shock and smoke.
Well, then why can't I see her?
Well, she's still a little upset. She woke up a while ago and said something about a car and some men.
A car?
Yes, I think that's what it was. I'd have called you, but she dropped off again. I thought she needed her rest more than you did your interview.
Thanks, nurse. My pal. So she talked about a car, eh?
Yes, and two men. Say, where are you going?
Oh, just out on that sun porch. Get a little air.
Now, listen, that sun porch is open. You'll catch your death of cold.
Oh, no. I like the cold.
Oh, all right. Suit yourself. You've probably got at least an hour, but whatever you do, don't leave that door open.
I won't. She's right. It is cold. And what's a little thing like cold to Superman? I knew I'd find out something if I hung around here long enough. 2 men in a car, eh? Not much to go on, but I've an hour or so to look. 2 men in a car. And if they had anything to do with that fire, they're heading away from town. I wonder if they're the officers of that North Star Mining Company, Pemberton and Deneen. Well, if I catch up with them, I'll soon find out. Here we go.
Bart, what's the red lights? Don't want to get us picked up now, do you?
Shut up and keep your head. We're turning in at this parking lot.
Where's the hospital?
It's right around the corner. I'll ask the attendant to make sure.
Here he comes.
Evening, gentlemen.
Okay, Mac. How much to park?
50 cents for the first hour, dime for every hour extra.
We won't be over an hour. Oh, where's the city hospital?
Straight down the avenue. First block to the right. You can't miss it.
Don't worry, we won't miss it. And we won't miss her either. Come on, Joe. It's later than I thought. We better step on it.
What if the DA got there first?
We'll worry about that when we have to. Remember now, I'm her uncle and you're her cousin who she hasn't seen for days. All set?
Listen, are you sure
Come on, don't get chicken-hearted. Make it good. Short and snappy.
Okay.
No luck. Looked into 500 cars and haven't found a thing. Either that girl was raving or they slipped by me in the dark. Huh. Wait. There's a car coming up the road with 2 men in it. I'll drop down. No time to become Clark Kent. Here they come. I'll stand in the middle of the road. Oh, they're not going to stop. They're swerving, but I'll stop them. No.
Hey, what?
It's a police car. The last people in the world I want to meet right now.
Hey, you, what's the big idea? You're trying to wreck us?
Hey, come back! Back, he's flying! Up in the air!
Fire!
Nice shooting, officer. One of those bullets bounced off my chest. Sorry, I can't wait to explain. Gotta get back to that hospital. Wasted enough time. That girl's probably ready to talk now. So long. Back to the city.
Dr. Winter, wanted an emergency. Calling Dr. Winter.
Well, Mr. Kent, are you still My goodness, where is he?
Are you looking for me, nurse?
My lands, don't tell me you've been out on that porch all this time.
Oh, why not?
Why, it's over an hour. Aren't you frozen?
Oh, not me. I like it. What about the patient? Is she awake?
Oh, yes. She even has some visitors.
Visitors? From the district attorney's office?
No, a couple of relatives.
Relatives? I didn't know she had any.
Well, evidently she has. An uncle and a cousin.
And they're with her now?
Well, they really shouldn't be, of course, but they were so anxious and they wanted to see her so badly that I stretched a point and let them in.
How long have they been with her?
Just went in. Well, what's the matter?
Nurse, let me go in and talk to them.
You? Why, I should say not.
Please, nurse.
Not until the doctor says it's all right.
Now, look, nurse, I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll put your picture in the paper. How's that?
You can't do that.
I will, I promise. A picture and a nice little story. How about it?
Well, you stay here till I call you. I'll see how she is.
Two relatives. This is the first time they show up, when the girl's been here over 12 hours and every paper in town's full of the story. Something mighty queer about this. What the? Somebody screamed.
The supervisor! Where's the supervisor? Call Dr. Peters, quick! Orderly! Orderly!
Which way do they go, Miss King?
Dr. Peters, where is he? Call him somebody!
Hey, what's going on? What happened?
Say, mister, two men. They were in one of the rooms. Anybody get through here?
No, I haven't seen a sign of them. Hey, wait. What did they do?
Nurse says they stabbed a girl. Hey there!
Stabbed a girl? Nurse! Nurse, where are you?
Oh, Mr. Kent, those men. They weren't her relatives. They went into a room and stabbed her.
Stabbed her?
The doctor. Miss Gray, where's Dr. Peters?
Nurse, how badly is she hurt? Is she dead?
I don't know. She's unconscious. Miss Gray, come in here and help quickly. Oh, thank heavens, Dr. Peters.
Yes.
In here, doctor.
Yes, right away, nurse.
Daily Planet, rewrite desk.
Listen, this is Clark Kent calling from City Hospital. Now get this, Mac.
Okay, Kent, shoot.
It's about that girl they rescued from the Sterling Tower fire. She's in the City Hospital accident ward, and a couple of alleged relatives got by the nurse and into her room.
Relatives, okay.
Only they weren't relatives. Nobody knows who they are, but they got into the girl's room and stabbed her. So far, the extent of her injuries is not known.
Not known. Listen, is she dead or isn't she?
Well, Mac, I don't know.
Well, find out, Kent. Find out and call back as soon as you can. I'll wait right here by the phone and hurry, will you? This sounds like it might...
Have Deneen and Pemberton, the two crooked owners of the North Star Mining Company, sealed their former secretary's lips forever? And why were they willing to risk arrest in order to get her out of the way? There are startling developments yet to come, thrilling adventures in which Clark Kent and Superman play a major part. Don't miss the next sensational installment of Superman. Tune in with us next time and follow the exciting transcription, Superman.
Up in the sky! Look! It's a bird! It's a plane!
It's Superman! Presenting the transcription feature, Superman.
Up in the sky! Look! It's a bird! It's a plane!
It's Superman! And now, Superman. When we last saw Clark Kent, he was in the midst of a baffling mystery. Waiting at the hospital to interview the girl he had saved in the nick of time from a burning building, he had heard a scream. Two men, posing as the girl's relatives, had visited her room, stabbed her, and suddenly vanished. Today, as our story continues, some time has passed. The girl's injury proved not to be serious, and she is now well enough to give Clark Kent his interview, though nervous and upset. As her story approaches its climax, she becomes more and more excited. Listen.
Mr. Kent, when I woke up here in the hospital, the first thing I saw, the very first thing, were those two faces bending over my bed. Bartley Pemberton and Joseph Deneen.
They're the ones who tried to kill you? But they're the head officers of the North Star Mining Company.
Of course they are. Don't you understand? Mr. Kent, I was their office secretary. About 2 months ago, I found out what they were doing. Mr. Kent, they weren't honest. They were swindlers. They sold people stock in a mine out west, a mine with no gold in it.
Go on, Miss Anderson, if you're not too tired.
I want you to know what happened. I found some letters and some secret diagrams and maps. And then came the morning of the fire.
Yes, go on.
I got down to the office early that morning and began going through his desk. I was in his office all alone. I knew I had at least an hour before he got in. I stood there, opening and shutting drawers, and all the time I didn't have any idea that there was somebody watching him from the closet. Pemberton.
Have you, by any chance, been investigating the activities of the North Star Mine, Miss Anderson? Have you?
All right. Since you've caught me, yes, I have. You've caught me, and I've caught you, you swindlers.
Why, you Hold it, Joe. Now, look here, girl. What do you mean by calling us swindlers? You realize you can go to jail for that?
Jail? You're a fine pair to be talking about jail. That's where you're going. I've got written proof.
No, that's a lie, Miss Anderson. You have no proof.
No? What about that letter you wrote a month ago to Barker out west? What about the crooked figures? What about those records you were looking for just last week?
Well, what about them?
I have them, that's all.
Huh?
Every single one of them.
Where are they?
Where you'll never find them, Joseph Deneen. Never in the world. Not you or anybody else.
Are you sure of that, Miss Anderson? Mr. Deneen and I are very clever at finding things.
You'll never find these papers. I'm the only one in the world who knows where they are.
The only one, huh? Well, how fortunate. All right, grab her, Joe. She's told us all we need to know.
Get away. Don't you dare. Help!
Go on, yell. There's nobody here. There won't be for another half hour. And by that time, Miss Anderson, we'll be gone. Gone for good, and you'll still be here. Go on, Joe. Catch her. Tie her up. Here, wait a minute. I'll give you a hand.
Well, I guess I was a fool, all right, Mr. Kent. I just didn't stop to think. I shouldn't have told him I was the only person who knew.
Oh, Miss Anderson, those papers. Why were they so anxious to keep anyone from finding them?
Mr. Kent, I don't know.
Must be something more than just proof of the swindle. Miss Anderson, where did you hide them? What did you do with those maps and diagrams?
My brother. He's the captain of a freight steamer, the Madison.
Yes?
I gave him all the papers in a package and told him to put them in the ship's safe.
And that's where they are now? Does your brother know what they are?
No, I didn't tell him. Oh, Mr. Kent, I can just see those two faces bending over me. I can't stand
Now,
it.
here, please, Miss Anderson, don't. Look, here comes the nurse.
Mr. Kent, I just heard from an orderly. Those men came in a car.
A car? What kind of a car?
A big black sedan,
Yes?
license 2406.
2406. So long, Miss Anderson.
Where are you going?
To find that car. Thanks, nurse.
Mr. Kent, it's still at the parking lot. They left it there.
Fine, that makes it easier. See you later.
2406. And if that isn't a break, I never heard one. Ah, here's the parking lot. And there's the car. Down. Now to see what I can find. Maybe an address, records, something to tell where they are. Ah, locked. I've got to get in. Hope nobody's looking. Now then, just take a door off. That'll be quickest. Once more. Now into the glove compartment. Ah, nothing. Nothing but guns. 2 pistols. Well, Superman can take care of those.
Hey, what's that guy doing? Look!
Oh, they've seen me. Gotta get out of here.
He's wrecked the car. He's torn the door off. Get him! Catch him!
Yes, come on, run after him, man. Let's get a hold of him.
Sorry, boys, can't stay. Gotta get back to my paper and write up this story as Clark Kent.
In a hideout near the waterfront, Bartley Pemberton and Joseph Deneen stare grimly at the black type that tells so much, and is so silent on the one thing they want most to know, whether their ex-secretary June Anderson has turned the incriminating papers over to the police. Pemberton decides to visit the Daily Planet office and learn what he can. Disguised as Dr. Ambrose, an investor in the North Star Mining Company, he pays a call on Clark Kent.
Hey there, Kent. Somebody wants to see you.
Huh? All right, who is he?
Right this way. That's Mr. Kent. Oh, thank you. Thank you so much. Mr. Kent, Mr. Clark Kent, who wrote the story on the North Star Mine.
I'm Clark Kent. What can I do for you? Won't you sit down?
Thanks. Mr. Kent, I'm a medical man, Dr. Ambrose, and every penny I possess is invested in the North Star Mining Company.
Oh, say, I'm terribly sorry, Doctor.
Oh, Mr. Kent, you don't mean
I'm afraid
that.
I do. Those fellows, Pemberton and Deneen, were out-and-out confidence men. Swindlers.
What? They were? Why, the crooks, the rascals.
I'm sorry about your savings, Doctor.
Mr. Kent, my loss is not half so serious as the fact that men like that are still at large.
Well, don't worry. They won't be long.
Oh, you'll catch them? You have the proof?
Not yet, but we will have.
Not yet? I don't understand. If you haven't the proof now, where is it?
Oh, Kent, man, I've been looking for you everywhere. Oh, I'm sorry I didn't see you were busy.
Oh, Mr. White, I just got in. This is Dr. Ambrose. He invested in the North Star Mine.
Yes.
Mr. White, Doctor.
How do you do,
How
Doctor?
do you do? Yes, I should say I did invest.
It was great work on your part, Kent. I just got a call from the district attorney's office.
What did they say?
They checked the girl's story, and it's true. She has got a brother who's the captain of a tramp steamer, and she did give him the package of papers just before he sailed.
Well, bless me, you don't mean it.
Yes, isn't that something, Doctor? Where's the tramp steamer heading for, Mr. White?
Well, they asked us not to print it, but she's the Madison, running south from here to Charleston.
The Madison, eh?
When will it arrive in Charleston?
The day after tomorrow. And the minute she docks, one of the DA's men will step aboard and pick up the package. I guess that'll put those crooks behind the bars all right when they're caught.
Yes, indeed, Mr. Editor, when they're caught. Well, I'll not keep on disturbing you, gentlemen.
Don't say no. I didn't mean to interrupt you and Kent.
If there's anything you want to know, Dr. Ambrose...
Not a thing, Mr. Kent. I'll just run along. My business, you know. It's been a pleasure, a real pleasure.
Well, if you're sure there's nothing I can tell you...
No, nothing whatever. You told me all there is to tell. Well, good day, gentlemen. Good day. Real pleasure.
Well, what do you make of him, Kent?
I can't imagine, Mr. White. He's probably worried stiff over his money.
You can't blame him for that.
No.
Now, where are you going? Back
up to the hospital. There's a whole lot more of that story. I want to talk to that Anderson girl again. See you later, Mr. White. And you say you've heard from your brother?
I had a wireless message.
Uh-huh.
The papers are all right, and he'll turn them over to the police when he docks at Charleston.
Well, now all we have to do is find Deneen and Pemberton.
I'll feel safer when they're caught.
You and an old doctor that called on me a while ago said he'd invested heavily in the North Star Mining Company.
Poor man. What was his name?
Why, Ambrose, Dr. Ambrose.
I don't recall any investor by that name.
And all the time I was talking to Mr. White about the Madison, the doctor just stood there biting his lips and tapping his index finger on the desk as though... What? What's the matter, Miss Anderson?
What did you say he did? Bit his lips and tapped with his finger?
Why, yes. What's so odd about that?
Nothing. Only... Mr. Kent, this old doctor, do you remember how tall he was?
Sure, about half a head shorter than I am.
And did his eyebrows meet in front in a straight line?
Why, yes, they did.
Mr. Kent, the finger that he tapped with, was there a scar on the knuckle? Did you notice that?
Miss Anderson, you know him? Who was he?
Oh, can't you guess, Mr. Kent? It was Bartley Pemberton, president of the North Star Mining Company, and now he knows.
Bartley Pemberton? Well, Miss Anderson, what if he does know?
Oh, don't you see? Don't you understand? He wants those papers. He'll do anything to get them. He'll take a plane or a fast boat. He'll catch the steamer. He'll kill my brother. Oh, Mr. Kent, do something.
Now we're really getting somewhere. Take a boat, will he? And catch the steamer and kill the captain. I think not, Pemberton. Not this time, and not while Superman is around. Ah, there's Sandy Hook. You've got a good start, Pemberton, but you'll need it. Faster, faster!
Is that the Madison? That big hulk up there ahead?
That's her, boss. Go on up with her in good shape. Watch out for this wave.
Bart, what are you going to do?
Hoist distress signals. Shoot off a rocket. Get that captain to take us aboard.
And what?
Well, then we'll see. But whatever happens, we've got to have those papers, so make sure nobody else does. Stand by, Joe. Here comes more water. All right, sailor, let go of the rockets. Signal that freighter to heave to. Give her the whistle.
Aye, aye, sir.
What will happen on board the Madison when Pemberton and Deneen demand the papers from Captain Anderson's safe? And when Superman comes streaking down from the northern sky in hot pursuit? Tune in next time and follow the story. Tune in with us next time and follow the exciting transcription, Superman.
Up in the sky! Look! It's a bird! It's a plane! It's Superman!
Presenting the transcription feature, Superman.
Up in the sky! Look! It's a bird! It's a plane! It's Superman!
Mysterious visitor from another world who has appeared on Earth as the champion of the weak and the oppressed. When we last saw Superman in his character of Clark Kent, news reporter for the Daily Planet, he had just learned that the two swindlers, Bartley Pemberton and Joseph Deneen, were heading south in a high-speed cruiser in order to catch up with the freight steamer Madison on her way to Charleston. As our story continues today, Superman is winging his way down the coast, straining his eyes for the first glimpse of the powerboat or the freighter. But Pemberton and Deneen have caught up with the Madison. 4 sharp blasts of their whistle, red rockets, distress signals, and the freighter is motionless in the black water, waiting for the smaller boat to come alongside. On the deck of the cruiser, Bartley Pemberton gives a last quick order to the man at the wheel. Listen.
Pay attention, sailor.
Okay, Cap. Make it fast, Bart. They're dropping a ladder over the side.
Head her in there, sailor. And get this.
I'm listening.
We're going on board that freighter to get something, you understand? If we don't get it, there may be trouble. Big trouble.
So what?
So stick around to pick us up. We'll want to make a fast getaway, so stay close. Ready to beat it.
Get set, Bart. What do we do now?
Stand by to grab that ladder, Joe. All right, sailor.
Ahoy on that cruiser. We're waiting for you.
Don't worry. You won't wait long. Go ahead, sailor. Edge in toward that ladder.
All right, Mr. Burns. Hold her under a dead slow bell and we see what's wrong with those fellows.
Aye, Captain Anderson.
Ahoy down there. What about the cruiser? What's wrong with her?
Captain, sir. 2 men are coming up the ladder. They want to see you.
They want to see me. Ask them what they mean by sounding distress signals.
Well, there they are, Captain. Coming over the rail now. What do you want done with them?
They better have a mighty good reason for stopping us, Mr. Burns. If they haven't, I'll put them in irons. Ahoy there! Bring those 2 men up to my cabin. Anybody else coming aboard?
No, sir. They say that's all.
Mr. Burns, hold it steady.
Steady, sure, sir.
Keep an eye on the weather, Mr. Burns. It's thickening up.
Very good, sir.
Sound your foghorn while we're hove to. Have Mr. Olson bring those men to my cabin.
And a few moments later, Pemberton and Deneen are ushered to Captain Anderson's cabin.
Come in.
Here they are, sir, the 2 men off the cruiser.
Come in, gentlemen.
Oh, Captain. Am I addressing Captain Vincent Anderson?
Yes, sir, you are.
Captain, my friend and I have followed your ship, the Madison, all the way down the coast, hoping to catch up with you.
Do you know you've stopped a vessel on government service?
Government service? I thought this was a freighter, a tramp.
Thank you for your description of it, sir. As it happens, we're carrying munitions.
Munitions? Well, isn't that a bit dangerous, Captain?
Don't worry. Transporting gun cotton and TNT isn't half as dangerous as giving false signals of distress, as you'll find out.
Just let us explain, Captain.
Captain Anderson, we've been sent by your sister, June. Before you sailed, she gave you a certain package of papers, didn't she? Sealed in oilskin?
What of it?
Are they in that safe there in the wall?
What business is it of yours?
Your sister told us to get them. So if it isn't too much trouble, Captain...
One moment, mister. I suppose my sister gave you written instructions. A letter? Well?
No, as a matter of fact, she didn't.
She didn't have time.
Oh, she didn't have time. Well, I'm sorry, gentlemen, but I don't believe you.
No, look here, Captain.
Say, listen.
I say I don't believe you. If this thing was so all-fired important, you follow me down the coast, make use of fake distress signals to get me to pick you up. You ought to be able to prove what you say.
Listen, Captain, we've got to have those papers.
You'll get them when we land at Charleston. And I've talked with my sister by phone, but not until then.
Is that so, Captain Anderson? Stand where you are, please.
Why, you... What do you mean, pulling a gun on me?
I mean business, Captain. Keep your hands up. All right, Joe. Get after that safe.
You'll land in prison for this.
Quiet, please. Well, what about it, Joe?
Nothing doing, Pard. Have to blow it. Didn't he say there was soup in the hold?
That's right. Carrying munitions, aren't you, Captain? Show us how to get to the hold.
Find out for yourself.
I said take us to the hold, Captain. I'm not fooling. Open the door, Joe. Now listen to me, Captain Anderson. You're going to take us down along the deck and into the hold.
No, I'll be shot if I will.
You'll be shot if you don't. We've come a long way, Captain, and done a good deal to make sure of those papers, and we won't stop now. Not even at murder. Get going.
Go on. Keep moving.
I'm right behind you, Captain, with this pistol in my pocket. If we meet any of your crew, keep quiet. All right, now move.
out of the captain's cabin, along the deck, and into the echoing stillness of the hold.
All right, this will do nicely. Just sit down now and take it easy, Captain, while Mr. Deneen makes you comfortable. Tie him up, Joe.
What are you going to do, Bud? Carry some stuff back up to the cabin and blow the safe?
No, it'll take too much time. As long as those papers are destroyed, as long as they're lost, we're all right.
But if you don't get them out of the safe...
They'll remain in the safe, and the safe will remain on the ship, and the ship will be blown to pieces.
Blown up?
What do you mean to do, you murdering pirate? What I mean to do, Captain Anderson, is to remove every trace of you and your ship.
Why, you'd never dare. You're out of your mind. You're a plain man, then. Help! Help!
Joe!
Go on and
Joe!
shoot him!
Help! Hit him over the head!
Help!
Why didn't you shoot him, Bud?
It's too noisy. They might hear us.
Listen, are you really going to blow up the whole boat?
Why not? Quick, we'll set a fire right down here. Far enough off to give us time to get away ourselves. And then we'll beat it. Nobody will ever know. Here, help me break into this case. It's marked dangerous. Keep away from fire.
This is it, all right?
All right. Now rip open these sacks. Spread it all around the floor. That's the way. All right, now make a little trail over to the door where we came in. I'll help you.
Where are you going to build the fire? You started here, we'll be caught ourselves.
Don't be a fool. How's our friend?
Out like a light. But he won't stay that way.
He won't have to. 5 minutes is all we need. All right, now give me a hand. We're going to build a fire. Work fast.
A flickering glow in the darkness of the hold. A thin spiral of smoke creeping up the companionway and curling out above the hatch covers on deck. Then sudden alarm, shouting and confusion. Wild ringing of alarm bells and frantic orders.
Hey, where's the captain? Where's the mate? Jump! Jump! She's full of gunpowder. We haven't got a chance. Fire! There's fire coming up under the hatch. Mr. Burns, what do we do?
All away to starboard boats. Where's Captain Anderson? All away and stand by to abandon ship.
All right. All right, Joe, that does it.
Listen, Bart, we better be getting out of here. That's your life preserver?
Yeah. Look, there's the cruiser cutting through the fog. Come on, Joe, over the rail. Jump for it and swim. Come on.
Fire aboard the steamer Madison, loaded with high explosive shells and TNT. Bolts go over the side, pull frantically for safety. And meanwhile, high up in the night sky, Superman sees a glow on the sea and heads swiftly downward.
What's that? Looks like a fire on the water. And it looks like the Madison, too. Down we go. Down. It is the Madison. She's afire, and her men have taken to the boats. I'll swing down and make sure they're all right. They won't see me in the fog.
Come on, pull. Pull hard.
Mr. Burns, the captain. Where's Captain Anderson?
Oh, hi there, Mr. Olson. Is the captain in your boat?
No, I thought he was with you.
With me? He's still on board. We've got to go back.
You can't do that, sir. Look at it. She'll go up any second. We can't go back now.
Captain's still on board. Have to get him quick. Down along the hull. If he'd been on deck, they'd have seen him. Must be down below. I'll hang on to this porthole and listen.
Clinging to the steep, slippery side of the Madison, Superman's keen hearing picks up sounds inside the hull.
Pounding. Someone's pounding inside the hull. No time to go up on deck and down the hatchway. I'll drive my way in from here, through the side. I wonder why they left the ship, why they didn't fight the fire. There, almost in. Once more. Hey there! Who was pounding?
Here in the after hold. Get me out quick. Break down the door.
There he is. Looks like the captain.
Nitro board. Get out. Get out.
Here, hold up. You'll be all right. Oh, he's fainted. TNT, huh? No wonder they abandoned ship. Hey, that fire's getting mighty close. Come along, Captain. Good thing you can't see me. You'll be found floating in the water with a life preserver, and nobody'll ever know who saved you. Out we go. Quick!
Superman carries the unconscious form of Captain Anderson, wraps him in a life preserver, drops him in the sea near the lifeboats, and streaks again for the doomed ship.
Touch and go now. That stuff will explode any second. But I've got to find the safe and get those papers. There's the bridge. Down. Here we are. This is the captain's cabin, all right. And there's the safe. Well, one smash will open that up. And there's the package. Must be. Wrapped in oilskin, marked June Anderson. Pemberton, this is the time you lose. Now out. Fast. No time for the stairs. Out through the wall. And away.
Hey, Mr. Burns, stop. There's a man floating in a life preserver.
It's the captain. It's Captain Anderson.
Get him aboard, quick. Haul him over the side. It is the captain. How'd he get out here? Never mind that. Pull! Pull! There goes the ship. We'll never get clear. Pull!
Outlined against a sheet of sudden orange flame, the steamer Madison explodes with a crashing roar, fills the sky with screaming shells, scatters flaring embers on the face of the sea. Do the boats get clear? What of Pemberton and Deneen? And meanwhile, what will Superman do with the precious oilskin package of papers? And what do the papers reveal? Tune in with us next time and follow the exciting transcription, Superman.
Up in the sky! Look! It's a bird! It's a plane! It's Superman!
The Avenger. The road to crime ends in a trap that justice sets. Crime does not pay. The Avenger, sworn enemy of evil, is actually Jim Brandon, a famous biochemist. Through his numerous scientific experiments, Brandon has perfected two inventions to aid him in his crusade against crime as the Avenger. The telepathic indicator by which he is able to pick up thought flashes, and the secret diffusion capsule, which cloaks him in the black light of invisibility. Brandon's assistant, the beautiful Fern Collier, is the only one who shares his secrets and knows that he is the man the underworld fears as the Avenger. And now, the Avenger and the Melody of Murder.
Yes, Mrs. Carlton? Go into the music room and see how much longer that piano tuner is going to take. Oh, that infernal noise is getting on my nerves.
Yes, madam.
Oh, Hawkins. Has Mr. Carlton come in yet?
Not yet, Mrs. Carlton.
Well, the moment he comes in, tell him that I wish to see him. I shall be waiting here in the library. Now, see if you can get rid of that piano tuner.
Yes, Mrs. Carlton. Hawkins told me you wanted to see me, Rena.
Oh, yes, George. I'd like to talk to you.
Oh, say, who's at that piano?
The piano tuner. He should be finished any moment now.
Well, I'll close that music room door. That racket's off.
No, leave it open, George. There are a lot of valuables in there, and the servants are busy in the back of the house.
Well, all right.
Well, to get down to business, George.
Yes?
Were you able to persuade those partners of yours to lend you enough money to see you through?
No, Rena. Burlingame and Redford both refused to help me.
They're trying to squeeze you out, George. I always knew they would. I told you from the beginning that they were just using you. Well, what are you going to do?
Well, I won't let them get away with this, Rena. You know, I've put everything we had into that firm.
But where in the world are you going to get the money to cover up your end of the losses?
There's only one way. I hate to ask you to do it, Rena, but, well, you'll just have to sell your jewels.
My jewels?
Rena, it's our only chance to salvage
No,
anything.
George. I will not let you have those jewels. Why, they're all I have left. I won't allow you to sink them in a bad investment.
I don't think you understand just how desperate this situation is.
I understand, all right. I warned you from the beginning about Redford and Burlingame. Why, they're no better than common swindlers. I'm tired of their shady deals and million-dollar schemes.
Well, you seemed to like them well enough when the money was rolling in. And now, suddenly, just because they happened to guess wrong on a few investments...
few investments that were big enough to ruin us.
We can still pull through. If you'll just be sensible, Rena. Let me raise a loan on your jewels and then...
I told you that I won't let you touch those jewels.
I've got to have them. If you won't lend them to me, then, Rena, I'm afraid I'll just have to take them.
George, you can't mean that.
There's no other way, Rena.
There has to be another way. I'm not going to let you make paupers of your wife and children. I tell you, I won't stand by and watch...
Rena. Oh, you shouldn't have... Oh, Rena.
George, what's happened? Hawkins, help! George!
What's the matter, Mrs. Carlson?
It's my husband. He's been shot. Get a Dr. Hawkins quickly.
Let me see. It's no use to get a doctor, madam. I think I'd better call the police.
The police?
Yes, from the look of the revolver on the floor. This was either suicide or murder.
Collier. Dear, it was good of you to come.
Mrs. Carlton, I brought a friend of mine to help you. This is Jim Brandon, Mrs. Carlton.
Mr. Brandon. Mr. Brandon, I am innocent. But we can never prove it. The gun, everything...
Mrs. Carlton, Fern has known you and your family for a long time, and she believes you're innocent. If you are, we'll find a way to prove it.
But how? Why, the evidence is all against me, Mr. Brandon. Why, sometimes I sit here in this cell and wonder if I could have fired that gun without knowing or remembering anything about it.
Oh, of course you didn't. Suppose you tell Jim exactly what happened and let him handle everything for you.
Yes, Mrs. Carlton. Tell me the truth. That is one weapon that is stronger than any kind of evidence.
Yes. Well, where shall I begin, Mr. Brandon?
First of all, Hawkins, your butler, testified that you and your husband were quarreling just prior to the shooting.
Yes. Yes, that's true, Mr. Brandon. We were quarreling violently over money. My husband's firm had made a bad investment. His two partners, Martin Burlingame and Paul Redford, they'd been able to cover their losses. But my husband hadn't been able to...
In other words, your husband would be forced out of the firm unless he could put up his share of the losses.
Yes. Yes, that's right, Mr. Brandon.
Now, about the shooting and the gun. Give me the details on that.
Well, you see, the truth sounds impossible and stupid. I can't expect you to believe me.
We want to believe you, Mrs. Carlton. Tell us what happened.
Well, you see, all of a sudden, a shot rang out and George sank to the floor. I ran to him and called for Hawkins, but nothing could be done. My husband was dead.
Then Hawkins noticed the gun on the floor.
Yes. I can't understand where the gun came from or how. All I know is that suddenly it was there.
A set of your fingerprints were on that gun, Mrs. Carlton.
Yes, I know. You see, I did a very foolish thing. I picked it up to examine it. I guess I couldn't believe my eyes.
Where was Hawkins when you picked up the gun? He says he didn't see you do it.
Hawkins was telephoning the police, I think. Oh, Mr. Brandon, I don't know. Everything became so confused.
Mrs. Carlton, we might as well face the fact that your fingerprints on that gun are conclusive evidence as far as the police are concerned.
I know, Mr. Brandon.
Naturally, they believe that single set of prints was made when you fired the gun, not when you picked up the gun to examine it.
If only Hawkins had seen me pick up the gun after the shooting.
But he didn't. So we only have your word for it.
I know. I can't expect them to believe me. But I'm telling you the truth, Mr. Brandon. I swear it. I
swear. Mrs. Carlton, please. You've got to be strong so you can help us prove you're innocent.
I'm sorry. Of course, Glenn.
Mrs. Carlton, think carefully now. Could anyone have been hidden in that room?
No. No, Mr. Brandon, I'm certain of that. There was no one there but George and me. The piano tuner was in the next room.
The piano tuner?
Yes. I remember hearing him drumming on the piano just as the shot was fired. So he couldn't have done it.
What happened to that piano tuner?
Why, I don't know. I suppose he was frightened by the shot and just left.
Well, who was he? I'd like to question him.
I don't know that either, Mr. Brandon. He said that when he arrived that my husband had hired him. And George was quite a good musician.
Thank you, Mrs. Carlton. That will be all for now.
Tell me frankly, Mr. Brandon, do you believe the story I've just told you?
Yes, I believe you, Mrs. Carlton. I've learned that crime is often quite fantastic in its effort to outrun the law.
But can you help me, Mr. Brandon?
I'll do everything I can.
Don't worry, Mrs. Carlton. You're in good hands now. Jim doesn't believe that perfect crime exists.
Yes, Mr. Brandon, Carlton's death was a great shock to Mr. Redford and me. Upset our business plans completely.
Mr. Burlingame, let's stick to the facts. You and Redford knew Carlton was broke, and you were trying to squeeze him out. His murder made that easy for you.
Now, look here, Brandon, what are you trying to do?
I'm trying to get at the truth of Carlton's murder.
Well, the police are convinced that Mrs. Carlton shot her husband.
Not so fast, Burlingame. The state still has to prove that.
Mr. Brandon and I think Mrs. Carlton is innocent.
Well, Miss Collier, I'm only repeating what the newspapers say. Excuse me. Say, can't you install that news ticker without making so much noise?
Okay, I'm almost finished.
What did you say that man's installing?
The news ticker machine. Redford must have ordered it. I didn't know anything about it until this workman came barging in here with it.
Mr. Redford must like his news hot off the wire.
Just another of his crazy ideas, Miss Collier.
Okay, mister. The machine's ready for use now.
Yeah? How do you turn it on?
Oh, you just turn that control knob on the right.
Oh, thank you.
When you hear the gong, that means that a big news flash is coming. I'll leave you here to try it out.
Well, excuse me a minute, Brandon. I'll turn on this machine and get the news. Since Redford's gone to all this expense, we might as well use it.
Jim, this interview's a failure. We haven't learned a thing from Burlingame.
We haven't finished with him yet, Fern.
An important news flash is coming over.
Burlingame, get back. There's a bomb in there. Fern, under the desk, quick! Burlingame! We didn't get here to Redford's apartment in time. He's gone.
From the condition of this apartment, he certainly left in a hurry, Jim. I'm certain Redford is our man. He must have killed Carlton in Burlingame, and now he's hiding out somewhere.
Well, since we're here, we might as well have a look around. And let's see, I'll take the closet, you take the desk, Fern.
Okay. But you don't sound as if you expect to find anything here, Jim.
Well, I was hoping to find Redford.
Gosh, it was a lucky thing for Mrs. Carlton. She was in jail when Burlingame was killed.
Yes. That's got the inspector baffled because even he has to admit there must be some connection between the two deaths. Find anything, Fern?
Not a thing here, Jim.
We might as well go to headquarters and report Redford's disappearance.
Jim, how did you know that explosion was going to happen in Burlingame's office?
Just after that third gong sounded, I heard a very light click. I wasn't certain it was a bomb, but it was no time to take a chance.
It's a lucky thing for us we were on the other side of the room and had time to duck under the desk. Jim, do you think we should answer Redford's phone?
By all means. Here, I'll take it. Hello?
Redford, if you don't want to hang for murder, meet me in front of the check room at the Central Bus Terminal at 4 o'clock.
Who is this?
Meet me at 4 o'clock, that's all.
Hello? 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 He hung up.
Who was it, Jim?
I don't know, but I'm beginning to smell a rat, Fern.
What do you mean?
If Redford is guilty, he has an accomplice. If he isn't guilty, someone is trying to frame him. Or, of course, that call could have been meant for the very man who received it.
You think it might have been meant for you, Jim?
Could be, Fern.
Well, what's our next step?
I'm going to the Central Bus Terminal to keep a very interesting appointment for Mr. Redford.
Back to the Avenger and the Melody of Murder.
This bus terminal's practically deserted. Business can't be very good.
Don't let appearances fool you, Fern. I had Inspector White order the place cleared. The men around here are all plainclothesmen.
Oh.
Anything may happen here in the next 5 minutes, Fern. I'm not taking any chances on innocent bystanders getting involved.
Nice work, Jim.
Now, Fern, I want you to wait in that music shop over there in the arcade. You'll be safe there and still able to keep a sharp lookout on the check room.
Jim, I'm afraid for you. Don't go through with this. It's too dangerous.
I must keep this appointment, Fern. It's our only chance of cracking this case and stopping these murders.
Oh, but Jim...
Now run along. It's almost time. Our man of mystery may appear at any moment.
Okay, Jim. Good luck.
Keep a sharp watch now.
I will, Jim.
Oh, good afternoon, miss. What can I do for you?
Why, I'd like to look at one of your record catalogs, please.
Oh, certainly. We have all the latest records. I'll be glad to play any of them you like.
Thank you. I'll look through the list first.
Good. Huh? Oh, yes, sir. Did you find what you wanted?
Yes, I'd like to listen to this record, this Concerto Penseroso.
Oh, of course, sir. I'll play it for you.
Make it a little louder, please.
Yes, sir.
Why, that's the workman who was in Burlingame's office. I'd better call Jim. Jim! Jim, come here, quick!
Get out of my way, Ben.
Jim, are you all right?
I'm okay, Fern.
Hurry, then. There goes our man. He's getting away. Through the arcade, Jim, that way.
Well, what happened, miss? Where was that explosion?
There in the check room. Look, the whole place is a shambles.
I should say so. I better go and see if anyone was hurt.
You got away, Fern. Not a sign of them anywhere.
It was the workman that installed the ticker in Burlingame's office, Jim.
Fern, get that record off the machine.
Yes, Jim.
And bring it along.
Why do you need the record, Jim?
That concerto is a melody of murder. There. That proves it, Fern.
Jim, nobody touched that gun. What caused it to go off?
The vibrations of that chord I struck upon the piano. They released the hair trigger of that gun.
That was the strangest thing I ever saw, Jim. You just placed that gun on the shelf between two rows of books, and all of a sudden it went off and fell to the floor.
Our killer posed as a piano tuner and used that ingenious method to kill Carlton.
But that bomb in the news ticker machine, Jim, was it set off by vibrations, too?
Yes, Fern. The slight movement caused by the vibrations of the gong released the delicate hairspring pin of the grenade planted inside the machine. That's how the explosion occurred. And the same thing happened at the bus terminal. The criminal left a bag containing the grenade in the check room.
Then went into that music shop in the arcade and at 4 o'clock had a certain record played.
Exactly. Now, let's add up the facts we know. That man in the music shop could be working for Redford. Now, if he isn't, then Redford is his next logical victim. Also, he's very anxious to get me off the case.
I'm anxious to get you off this case, too, Jim. It's fantastic and horrible. Every time I hear music, I'll be afraid for our lives.
Oh, we can't give up now, Fern. We know what the criminal looks like and how the murders were committed. Those facts are bound to lead us somewhere.
Well, before we start chasing down any more clues, I'll have to change my shoes. When that criminal ran out of the music shop, he stepped on my foot. Look at this big mark on the toe of my shoe.
Fern, give me that shoe. That dirt mark is evidence.
Evidence?
Yes, a laboratory test of that dirt may tell us exactly where to find the murderer. Well, here it is, Fern. This is what I've been looking for.
What is it, Jim?
Look, in these books Mrs. Carlton turned over to me, there's a record of a farm the firm of Carlton, Burlingame, and Redford bought about 5 years ago.
Why is that important, Jim?
Because that farm proved to be a very good investment. Shortly after it was purchased, it was found to be rich in bauxite.
I still don't get it.
That dirt I analyzed from your shoe contained bauxite.
Oh? Who owned the farm?
Chester Morland. But it seems to me old Morland died about a year ago.
Doesn't this put Redford on the spot, Jim? It shows how much he had to gain by the death of his two partners.
Yes, but it could mean something else entirely. Fern, get your things. We're going for a drive.
Jim, I think we should have brought the inspector and some of his men along. I have a feeling we're going to run into trouble out here.
Well, the inspector wasn't at headquarters, Fern. I left word for him to join us in half an hour. Anyway, there's always a chance that this may turn out to be a wild goose chase.
Oh, I hope not.
Oh, here's the road where we turn in. There. Well, that's the old Morland house up there ahead.
It looks deserted, Jim.
Yeah, probably hasn't been lived in since Carlton's firm took over the farm.
Why are you parking so far away from the house, Jim?
Fern, I want you to wait here in the car.
Oh, Jim.
Listen, Fern. Somebody's playing the piano in there.
Yes. I guess this is the place you're looking for, all right. Jim.
Yes, Fern.
Let's arrange some sort of signal in case anything goes wrong in there.
Okay. If I want you, I'll play the small flower rondelet on the piano.
And I'll come running, Jim.
Don't be frightened, Fern. I think everything will be all right. I'm going in there as the Avenger.
Well, Uncle, your day of vengeance is at hand. I, Curtis Moreland, have kept my promise to you, even though you're dead. Uncle, your last enemy dies today. And we'll have our farm back. Carlton, Burlingame, and Redford. They were no match for me, Uncle. I've murdered 2 of them, and Redford dies within the hour. All with my music, Uncle. The music that you taught me.
Curtis Moreland.
Who's there? Who called my name?
It's the Avenger, Moreland.
The Avenger? Where? I can't see you.
Get away from that piano, Moreland. The Avenger knows your secret. There's a discord of death in the music you play.
Yes, there's death in it. Death and vengeance. And the music won't stop until all 3 of them are dead.
Where is Redford?
In a few minutes, Redford will die. Nothing can save him. Not even you.
Where is he?
I have but to strike a certain chord, and he will be blown into 1,000 pieces.
Moreland, nothing can be gained by murder. Spare Redford.
No, Avenger. He's doomed just like the others. But I would torture him a little first. I'll have him listen to the dirge of doom before I strike the final chord. What are you doing, Avenger? Get away from this piano. No hand but mine must touch these keys. Stop it, I say, stop it!
A simple rondelet can break the spell of your vibrations, Moreland.
What is it, Avenger? How can I help you?
Young lady, Redford is in this house. Find him and get him out. Hurry.
Yes, I'll find him, Avenger.
I've made a promise to a dead man, and I must keep it. You're a fool, Avenger. I can still outwit you. There is another piano in this house, and even if it means that I must die, I'll strike the proper chord on it. Then, Avenger, you'll see a whole wing of this house explode and collapse into a deserted mine shaft.
Moreland, come back. Moreland! I can
Jim, when I saw the whole wing of that house collapse, I never thought I'd see you alive again.
Morland locked the door after him, Fern. Otherwise, I would have tried to save him.
Well, it's nice to be back here safely in the laboratory, Jim. I hope we never have another case like this. My nerves won't stand it.
We'll do some routine work on the telepathic indicator for a few days and give you a chance to get back to normal, Fern.
Well, now to bring your notes up to date on this case, Jim, what shall I list for the motive of Curtis Morland's crimes?
Revenge, Fern. That farm had belonged to Curtis's uncle and would have fallen to Curtis at the old man's death. But Carlton and his partners discovered a very rich deposit of bauxite there and persuaded old Morland to sell the farm. It drove young Curtis mad to watch those partners get rich at his uncle's expense. And when the old man died, Curtis vowed to get even and reclaim his heritage.
Well, we saved Redford anyway. He's promised to face the music and see that Mrs. Carlton gets her husband's share of the business.
Which is just about where we came in on this.
Yes. What's that?
Take it easy, Fern. It's only the piano tuner. We ruined the tone of my piano with those vibration experiments. So I decided to have it tuned.
Oh, Jim, I don't think I'll ever be able to enjoy piano music again.
All characters, names, places, and plots used in the Avenger program are fictitious. Any similarity to persons living or dead is purely coincidental.
This is a thought. A thought. A thought. Remember, listen for another adventure of...
The Avenger.
Adventures of the Shadow are on the air, brought to you each week by the Blue Coal Dealers of America. These dramatizations are designed to demonstrate forcibly to old and young alike that crime does not pay. While they set the stage for today's shadow drama, let me ask you a brief but vital question. Have you heard about the new easy three-way plan for better home heating? It's the Blue Coal Plan, with the accent on convenience, economy, and comfort. Blue coal in your furnace means a steady-burning, longer-lasting fire that heats your home comfortably from cellar to attic. Next time you order fuel, insist upon Blue Coal. Your neighborhood Blue Coal dealer will be glad to explain his three-way plan for better home heating. Phone him tomorrow, won't you? The Shadow, mysterious character who aids the forces of law and order, is in reality Lamont Cranston, wealthy young man about town. As the Shadow, Cranston is gifted with hypnotic power to cloud men's minds so that they cannot see him. Cranston's friend and companion, the lovely Margot Lane, is the only person who knows to whom the voice of the invisible Shadow belongs. Today's story, The Shadow Challenge.
Hello? No, I can't speak to him. And please don't put more calls through, operator. I'm busy working and I don't wish to be disturbed. Thank you. Now, let me see. Where was I? Oh, yes. What was that?
I'm sorry to interrupt your work, Professor Rice.
Who is that? Who is speaking? I see no one.
I am called the Shadow.
The Shadow? I've heard of you. What are you doing here?
That manuscript you're translating, Professor Rice. It is of great value, is it not?
Yes, of course.
I want you to give it to me, Professor.
Give you this manuscript? Why, that's impossible. It's not mine. It belongs to the museum. It's a direct key to ancient Hindu culture.
I know. That's why I've come here. I want that manuscript.
Now, see here. I've always had a great respect for you, Shadow. You worked for the forces of good against the forces of evil. But now, you're behaving like a common thief.
Give me that manuscript.
No.
Very well. I see that I must use other methods.
What do you mean? What are you going to do?
This is what I'm going to do, Professor Rice.
Shadow. Why did you do this?
Oh, Lamont Cranston, to think that I believed you all these years when you told me what a golfer you were.
Oh, I just had an off day, that's all, Margot. Even the best of us experience those. Besides, I'm not used to playing in the sun.
You weren't in the sun. You were in a nice, shady wood. You never saw the fairway all day.
All right, you win.
Do we have time for a swim?
I think so.
Oh, good.
I've got to vindicate my athletic ability in some fashion.
Big snowstorm.
Don't you ever change that headline down here?
Well, not till I think of a better one. Paper mixer?
All right, here you are.
Thank you. It's the entire northern states.